All right, we're back. This is, as we were talking about beforehand, the first time that I'm ever doing a Flames game on THPN. So, yay! It's been long overdue. Mainly because every time I watch this team, it's like in shambles. So, but thanks for everyone coming on. Thank you to Peter as well too for doing this. I know he didn't have to on a Friday night, but I appreciate it. As the Flames are in Columbus tonight to battle the Blue Jackets. I was mentioning before too to Peter that the Flames are 7-1 against the Blue Jackets in their last 8 games, which means absolutely nothing in this circumstance. And your starting goaltenders tonight are Jacob Markstrom and Spencer Martin, the former Vancouver Canuck, if you remember. He used to play for the Canucks, and now he's a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets as he gets the start tonight. So, Peter, I know this is unfamiliar territory for you, being a Leaf fan. But what are you excited for tonight for this game?
Yeah, and also because like all the Western games are like way past or getting close to my bedtime, so
Yep.
it's tough with the Pacific time games. But when I ever get a chance, I try to save up for any game as much as possible. But in terms of this game, I still just want to see like the steps that Calgary's taking with the new coaching staff, with kind of like the players that they brought in last year. If they can still have a big season, they can be relied on big time. Obviously, Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar looked great last year. I thought he was one of the better of the 2 acquisitions. Can't wait to see what he brings.
Oh yeah.
As you mentioned before too, at the beginning of the season when we did our first broadcast with the Leafs, if Jacob Markstrom can just find some bit of consistency that can help this team, get some more wins in the win column and help his team out a little bit as well, because there have been a few stinkers as well. No surprise to that with the Maple Leafs as well this season. Yeah. And also, big shout out to Nazem Kadri, former Leaf, wearing my Marlies championship hat because he was a grad from the system. So got to support him. But that also first major view of Adam Fantilli as well in the NHL. So
that's right. That's awesome. Yeah, so Armchair, one of our guys, what's going on, man? Good to see you again.
How's it going?
Yeah, as wants to hey, coach the Flames, make backups look like prime Patty Raw. Just play Martin. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Spencer Martin's going to play tonight. Speaking of Kadri, though, I thought I'd just pull up just our starting lineups for tonight. It is going to be Jacob Markstrom, as I mentioned. Dan Vladar was in net last night. This is Calgary coming off a back-to-back nights, as they did hang on to barely beat the Sabres, and which was it was pretty ugly, not going to lie. I watched a little bit of the end of it. But it turns out that Huberdeau, Lindholm, and Mangiapane will be your first line tonight, along with Ruzicka, Kadri, and Dubé, Coleman, Backlund, and Coronado, with Sharon Govich, AJ Greer, and Walker Dewar. And then on defense, you got Noah Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, Nikita Zadorov, Mackenzie Weegar, Dennis Gilbert, and Chris Tanev. I don't have the Blue Jackets lineup apparently, but that's the Flames because that's all that matters. But of course,
especially on this broadcast.
Well, exactly. What's going on, man? It's going good. Just excited to see Gaudreau again tonight in a Blue Jacket uniform. As I was just going to bring up, this will be probably this 3rd or 4th meeting now, probably that the Flames will be playing against the Blue Jackets, in which Johnny Gaudreau is now a member of Columbus. Still very weird to see sometimes, and it was also weird to see Matthew Tkachuk all the way to the Stanley Cup final, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to grab a code for one of our guys because it's funny, there's only 2 games tonight, and it turns out we are doing both streams for tonight as well. So we got this one tonight. The Devils are in New York, Long Island, New York tonight, as the Islanders host the Devils. So I just have to get one of our guys the code for logging into the stream. I'm working on it. And I'm looking at, like, I don't know where you at with the broadcast here, but I've been told, like, the Blue Jackets Stadium is actually really neat. And there's a guy fully dressed up in a Captain America uniform with the shield.
Yeah, I saw that behind the bench.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
What? Look, I understand being, like, a diehard, but it's, like, sometimes you take it, like, a little bit overboard. I think I have to, like, change my Wi-Fi over again because I'm noticing that, like, the 1 bar thing is not really cooperating. So I apologize if I cut out for a second.
Oh, it's all good.
How are we now? We're back? We good?
back. You look a little bit clearer. So
thank you, appreciate it. Sorry, I don't know what it is. It's stupid that I have my stupid router here, and it's like I don't know. I'm like 5 feet from a router, and it's so silly. I was also told earlier before we jumped on that I looked like Harry Potter if he decided to watch hockey.
The hipster version of Harry Potter at this point.
Pretty much. I don't know if you ever used it, but like these are they're blue light glasses. I don't know if you've ever heard/used them before.
I've heard of them. I saw them. I can't quite get used to them because sometimes when I wear them, like it looks like it's reflecting into my eye and it throws me off.
I hate it. I know. So, and I can tell too, like with the screen, it's like right at it. So let's see here. Kadri's been the worst player on the team since last January. Worst contract in the league, maybe after Nurse. I think that's a little blown out of proportion in my books. I don't know. I think just everything that happened last year, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt a little bit, considering, understanding. So, like, obviously the whole Daryl Sutter situation and how that all transpired. I don't want to say that every player was completely affected by that whole ordeal. But yeah, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. I think a lot of these guys are gonna have bounce back years. And now I don't know if you've heard of like the new coach and all that. Like now Craig Conroy coming in as GM or like know much about it. But Ryan Huska, who's now the coach for Calgary, has been in this organization for the last 5 to 6 years, and he was kind of like, because Sheldon Keefe was an assistant, right? Before he came on for the Leafs, wasn't he?
No, he came up straight from the AHL as the head coach.
Oh, right. Yeah, he was head coach in the AHL. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so anyway, so with Huska, like he's been a part of this assistant coaching unit and all that for a long time now, right? And it felt like he kind of deserved an opportunity to get at it. So yeah, I kind of hope he does well for himself. I think a lot of the guys will kind of back up under him as well. As he's got the game on the one stream, we got another one ongoing, so that's good. We got ours on the back.
That's how you do it.
I know. I pretty much, right? Armchair going, the guy looks like RJ Umberger. Do you remember RJ Umberger a lot from his career, his playing days?
I do, like early thousands when that was like the whole Rick Nash team. That early thousands when they were still
was a good team.
New to the league.
It was a good squad. As Bush is checking in off Twitch, what's going on, man? Hope you're catching tonight's game. As I don't know if you've had the weather that we had today, because you're not far from me, but we had like a torrential downpour like in the last hour, so it's been pretty ugly.
It was rainy this morning. It wasn't bad. It just seemed like a normal drizzle, but everything kind of cleared up, so we really didn't get pelted that bad. So nice. In terms of where I was, it probably would have been bad in certain areas, but
yeah, cool.
It was pretty clear for us. So
I don't know where you're at with the stream, but they're just about
dropped.
Oh, it dropped. Okay, wait, pause it. I'll let you know.
Oh,
can you?
I pause it.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, I'll let you know. As they're about to drop the puck here on my end. Do you have Sportsnet too?
I do have Sportsnet, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, they just dropped the puck now. There we go.
I'm at 1951.
51. Okay, I'm like 5 seconds behind you. 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46. We're good?
Yep. Yeah.
That's how I used to do it before with that's how I did it before with Neil when we were doing our playoff games and that. And we're like, okay, we're off. Just start counting down, and then like boom, you can go, right?
Yeah.
As we're underway now in Columbus here. I'll bring up the little our little scoreboard here. Thank you for Peter again for sharing the screen because my laptop is terrible for that. As we are off in Columbus officially. As I was on these guys' podcast, and I'd love to come back on again. I was on last year at some point. I think it was during the winter when we came on, and thinking about it now, I made like a ridiculous take as Columbus gets a good chance with Markstrom making a good save.
Good save. Good pass save. I think he needed that early on.
God, I can't count the amount of times Markstrom's led in a goal in the first 2 or 3 shots in the game. So like the beginning to each game, like going forward for Calgary when Markstrom's in net is so critical. Like you need him to start stepping up in early on in games, and you can't fall behind early, which a lot of the times the Flames were kind of playing catch up a little bit last year. they're showing the lineups here. And God, I love Columbus's lineup, man, with Fantilli and Ken Johnson and just all up and down that lineup, man. It's really good.
Yeah.
Zach Werenski actually is starting his first game today. So he's getting a chance.
He's dealing with some injuries as well.
I don't know exactly what. Yeah, I don't know what injuries they were. But Werenski is getting back into the lineup today. So this is his first game of the season. So he was out for a couple of games. And I remember like when the Flames do play against Spencer Martin specifically, he's caused some problems, like a fair amount of problems for us. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's that type of game again. As good Branson passed it over and Martin does cover it up for a save. So what are so for tonight, what are the keys do you think for Columbus to kind of get off on a fast start here? Obviously we've seen weaknesses before, like we just mentioned with Markstrom, peppering shots early on. But what does Columbus need to do tonight to kind of slow Calgary down a little bit after coming off a win last night?
From what I've seen early on, they look to be quick in transition right now. So I think they want to utilize that speed and get the Flames on their heels as quick as possible, because we've seen how tentative they can be at times, and we're seeing quick off the draw right now. Just keep their feet moving and just try and stay one step ahead of them, because you want them to play catch up, especially on home ice right now.
You got it. I don't know if you saw the graphic there, but you had 12 Flames who had a point last night in the 4-3 win over the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be coming out with another NHL Weekly episode on Monday, and I'm trying to think of a title for it. And I think what I'm trying to do is I have like Vegas off to a red hot start. They're 5-0 to start the year.
Yeah.
And then I also have like the team struggling, and the two that I had in my plans were Buffalo and Edmonton, who kind of are off to a slow start. And I remember we had the conversation a couple nights ago where a lot of the teams hadn't had their first win yet, and Florida, I think, actually had their first win that night when we were watching the Leafs and the Blackhawks. Now it's kind of, I don't know, like now that we both said Florida, I think for reasons where it made sense, where like the injuries were piling up and that. But now you look at Buffalo and Edmonton, and you're like, man, Edmonton got exposed last night by Philadelphia. Yeah. And Buffalo, it was a great game last night. I don't think either teams had, like, obviously you have bad moments here or there, but I think either way, it could have gone either way last night. So I don't think Buffalo should be maybe in the position they're at. But what are your thoughts on Buffalo and Edmonton going forward as Columbus gets in for a good chance here?
Yeah, I mean, Edmonton right now, I think they're in a much worse spot than the Maple Leafs right now. So, again, it falls on the goaltending too. Like Jack Campbell right there is just not living up to that contract right now. He had a strong preseason, but it's like he only had one good game, and then, he allows 4 against the Flyers, and that really is a cause for concern right now. And again, it's still early, 4 games in, but this is not an ideal situation right now where you have the top 2 players in the league. As for Buffalo too, I think, again, kind of the same situation too, but like they have inexperienced goaltending. So I think that may have been something to consider going in, but they still have the firepower up front. You have your 2 star defenders locked up long-term right now. I think it's just them settling in and getting to their game. That's going to be very, very key, as is for all the teams right now. But with them, again, they're kind of going to be middle of the pack fighting for a spot right now, but you see early on right now, you're seeing Detroit starting to pick it up. You're seeing Ottawa start to pick it up. So out of those 3 teams right now, Buffalo is starting to look like the one on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and it's early. We're only a couple of games in, and obviously you can go on these stretches throughout the season. Before we move on, though, I wanted to get our predictions in for tonight. Who do you have winning tonight? What's the score?
I think it's gonna be very close. I think it's gonna be a 1-goal game, 4-3, and it's gonna be 4-3 for Calgary.
Okay. Being a Calgary fan, though, I think Columbus actually takes this one tonight. I think this is a type of game that I think it's going to be a close game as well, too. Like, shots already 5-1 Columbus. Coming off a back-to-back is just tough in general. Doesn't matter who you play, right? I don't know. I think they played a tough game last night. It was very physical last night. I got Columbus winning it, but I'll give Calgary a point. I think this goes to overtime. So I'll say I'll say like 3-2.
Yeah. Again, the thing why it may work in Columbus's, favor right now, Yeah, they are getting the amount of shots and the amount of offensive zone time, but Markstrom looks very dialed in too. So if they do win, it's going to be on the heels of Markstrom just bailing his team out after again they played the night before and he did.
Yeah, and it was nice because Vladar did start last night, so it's nice that Markstrom's just fresh going into this. And a lot of the times too, like when you have like throughout the season, you need backup goaltenders exactly for this reason, right? Like the back-to-backs, you just need to kind of separate it a little bit. As we do have Avatar saying it's 3-2 Calgary in overtime, so at least I'm not the only one, and I'm trying to have some faith as our armchair guys are saying 5-2 Calgary. I don't know. I think I'm just curious, like just to see how this game progresses. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's one of those games where it looks like, okay, it's 0-0, doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden it goes boom, boom, boom. Right. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited for this one.
Great chance.
Yeah.
Great chance there.
And curious to see, like, man, like you knew this as of last night with Toronto, like turnovers wise. I think that's kind of the story that I've seen a little bit as we're already 7 minutes into this game. And I mean, we can talk about it if you want. Like, obviously, the Peter being from our Sticks in the Six podcast, the Leafs did fall short last night, 3-1. They made it close though towards the end. As Tavares had a good chance there at the end of the game. There, what were your thoughts on last night's game with the Leafs?
Just too little, too late. I mean, you basically lost the game in the last 2 minutes of that first period, and again, turnovers, bad positioning, bad awareness, bad decision making. That was the MO of the Maple Leafs in the first 3 games heading into that game, and that was the same case last night. They managed to pick it up and get more shots and looked better in the second and third period, but they still cannot solve Bobrovsky coming in with like just under 900 save percentage, and that to me is a little bit concerning that you couldn't solve him. You were getting your chances, but it didn't seem like they were crashing the net as much. They did on the power play, but sticks were getting into lanes, pucks were jumping on their sticks, and nothing was going for them. And also, like, that bottom six is starting to become a bit of a hindrance right now where you're only relying on your top players. So, but then again, you want your best players to be the game breakers. So see what happens in the next game, but a better 40 minutes, but you need to play a complete 60.
Oh, you got me okay? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of cut out, but
okay. All right. Sorry, we're okay.
We're all good.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I caught it there at the end with Bobrovsky. Like I'm surprised that they're also in commercial break right now. I'm surprised they weren't able to figure them out with like the Leafs. I think I was reading there that they play the Lightning tomorrow night, and they're second in the league already on shots on goal. Like, to not figure out Bobrovsky after, the stretch that he went on for, like in the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? Like, I'm just shocked that you only get 1 goal out of it. Like, obviously you can get a guy on a night and, you had time to heal up during the offseason, but I don't know. I'd expect more than 1 goal, especially from this Leafs team against Florida, where, you'd already just had a series against them last year. You should be able to contribute a little bit more than that.
Yeah, and even before that, Marner goal on the power play, Morgan Rielly missed like a wide open net too. So as soon as he whiffed that wide, you knew it was going to be that kind of game where after that point, goals are going to be tough to come by.
You got it.
Maple Leafs, right?
Exactly. I wanted to ask, because I just thought about this, because Laine was lining up against Backlund there on the draw as plays back underway here. What do you think of Patrick Laine's career so far?
Very inconsistent, especially after, the first 3 seasons that he had in Winnipeg, right? Or the first three to 5 seasons where he was just an absolute, offensive dynamo and goal scorer. Then he comes into a system where, Torts was the coach. I don't think that was probably the best fit for him, but now it seems like he's starting to get his career back on path where not only is he's just finding the back of the net, but I think he's becoming a little bit more dynamic and more versatile with his playmaking. So you still want to see that progression go. I don't know if he's still going to live up to that, still 40 goal scorer kind of player, but he can still be impactful with 20 goals and 50 points.
I'm curious to see, like, with this team in the future, because I really like this Columbus team, man. I think they're like what they have set up for the future, man, look really good. And I think they still need maybe another year or two. I don't know where, but like I think my issue is, like, does Patrick Laine fit in this equation for them winning a cup? That's what that's why I wanted to ask you the question. I don't know if like he really fits into their formula.
I think because he has like younger skilled players at his disposal right now, like a Fantilli, like a Johnson, if they start to move up in the line. I believe Fantilli is with Laine on the top line.
I think so. I think they had him on the third line tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm gonna look up real quick. I think they had him on the third line. I'm just looking up starting lineups for tonight. Okay, so for Columbus, oh yeah, I want to know the power play lineups. Well, I can tell you the power play lineups if you want. But the player that I actually really do like on
Laine, Fantilli, Texier are the
got it
per daily faceoff. I like to use daily faceoff a lot. So that is the line right there. So yeah, you have Fantilli, a little bit of a quicker player at your disposal on the wing. Although I think maybe them trying Laine at center is just still an experiment kind of thing because Fantilli is a C.
Right.
But yeah, either way, if you reverse both players, you got a dynamic winger with a very highly skilled center in Fantilli with Laine on the wing, vice versa. So yeah, he's got a very good complementary player at his side.
Absolutely. And Texier too, like I'm surprised like they have him all the way up there on the second line. Like you said, like why don't you throw Kent Johnson in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was even a little surprised when they scratched him first game. I had to drop him because, I drafted him and that was really rough. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is, definitely, yeah. But, hopefully at some point he can like move up the lineup too. I think he's the type of player that'll get more opportunities because of his playmaking and his vision. He's just so crafty with the puck. I think that'll work in Columbus's favor if and when he does move up.
I'll come back to that in a second though. But Avatar saying he thinks Calgary will score first tonight. Honestly, I don't have a lot of high hopes anytime I watch this team. I just go through with it. Like whatever happens. But I think my guess is, if Calgary scores first, I'll say Walker Duehr's been so good lately. Like this fourth line for this Flames team, especially last night, has been sensational. And I think we're gonna have a fight. We got to fight. Nas and Kadri going at it.
Oh, let's go, Nas.
I think it's Cole Sillinger. And what the hell is Sillinger doing?
Let's go, Nas.
Gets some good punches, and it just kind of started out of nowhere. And Sillinger kind of slips and falls. Yeah. It was still really even. I don't know what Sillinger was doing at the beginning, where he was just kind of like, he wasn't really.
He was like instigating and antagonizing him right there.
Yeah. So I want to see the replay of that again, as I didn't expect a guy like Cole Sillinger to.
I'm just going to throw this out there. It is very weird for me to see a forward with just a single number as opposed to like a double-digit number.
It is weird, isn't it?
It is so weird to me because I'm so used to seeing defenders with, single digits. But off topic. But that was a clean hit by Kadri there, and he just didn't like it. But you know what?
They both just went at it.
Yeah. Shove a match and then
it was some good hits. I thought both guys had good hits. It was pretty even for the most part.
I'm going to be a bit biased. I'm going to give the tilt to Kadri there.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought Sillinger had some good hits at the beginning when you had like his left hand. Boom, boom, boom. Before that fight happened, also I noticed on Daily Faceoff that Sillinger's 34, so maybe he is just a single-digit number. Anyway, but I was going to say, I think I'll say for Columbus tonight, just because this is the way it usually goes for Calgary, I'll say Johnny Gaudreau scores for Columbus. And then for Calgary tonight, I'll say, I think Lindholm Potts won early. Why not?
You're in my good books with my fantasy hockey team because
good.
Lindholm goal. I am going to say, you know what? I'm just going to say maybe a defensive goal from Calgary. I'm going to say Rasmus Andersson.
Okay.
With him.
Yep.
That to me is just a little bit of like, throwing a dart at a board there. Sure. But I think he's due for like, a good point shot. So I'm going to say him, and I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to say, I'm just going to say this because I dropped him, Kent Johnson for Columbus.
Kent Johnson to do it. Now that you say that, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Avatar saying I keep seeing that Captain America guy.
Blue jacket.
That's unbelievable. I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome. I mean, good on him, but like I think we talked about it before where like he's sitting right behind the bench and I'm like, dude, I would not want to be there, right? Unless your purpose is to like physically or not physically, but like verbally assault the players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be the type of guy that would sit behind there.
I was about to say, I'm like trying to see if that's actually Chris Evans there or not, but
Did I miss that? Why are we on the power play?
Yeah, so I assume Sillinger got the instigator there.
The instigator, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so power play unit out, Huberdeau out there with Adam Ruzicka. You do have Rasmus Andersson out there. I think they'll change it up though as Lindholm, Huberdeau, Lindholm, Rasmus Andersson. I think Ruzicka was in for Kadri because I think Kadri would usually be in for that top power play unit. Or Ruzicka is not a bad way to go too. Adam Ruzicka, former Sudbury Wolf as well, went to school up in Sudbury. So there you go. I think there was news actually that came out the other day about the draft pick. What's his name? Dalibor Dvorsky, I think. He was a St. Louis guy. And then he went back to the O now, and he's I think he's playing up in Sudbury too. But I've been seeing a lot of
Sudbury owned his rights.
Right. That makes sense. I forget how they do it sometimes. Anderson had a good shot there on Spencer Martin.
So there's like a CHL import draft where they get like some of these top names in, and it's like, I guess it's based on like order of, I would assume it's based on like standing wise. So like, for example, London got Kasper Halttunen, Sudbury got Dalibor Dvorsky. So if they feel like the player isn't not quite suited, but if they want to make a change from European over here, then they report to the junior team that holds their rights.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Because he's not, I mean, when a lot of the times the guys get drafted, they tend to go down like back to their junior team.
Back to junior overseas. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it makes sense. As long as they're eligible, I think it just makes sense to go back or they go back overseas for the time being. Okay, that's interesting.
I just think that's going to be very fun because Dvorsky.
That is. Sorry, I think it's a delay game.
He's saying it looks like deflected.
Was it deflected? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Can you challenge that?
Not sure.
Okay, so he's got it.
I think it's only like offsides and goaltender interference that you could challenge.
No way. He totally flipped that out.
No, he's already had it. He's had the bow of shame right there. He already knew that was clear.
There was no way, Dubé.
No, that's a penalty.
You have to look at that.
That's a penalty.
You would assume the guys up in Toronto would say that's the case, right? Like they would kind of just phone in and be like, "Yo, like
that should be a penalty."
Yeah, I think Avatar.
He's calling it.
It's a delay game. Okay, good.
Yep. See, it's a good thing they're also like convened with the linesmen there because they're closer to it. But then again, I understand why there's a little bit of confusion there because it looked like sticks got in the way.
Oh,
but when you throw it down, it totally is.
Yeah,
but I agree. If you could even review like incidental high sticks and all that, I think you should probably review that. But then again, you get to the point where are you going to review everything?
But at least the guys like from Toronto will say no, like it is. I think they would tell them in that situation, like A, like yes, it was deflection, or B, no, like it's out, make the call kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm glad they were kind of on the ball with that. As I think that was icing now, as Calgary is now 21 seconds on a 2-man advantage. As they were they're now kind of buzzing a little bit here as Columbus did start out fairly quick. But now a chance here as Ruzicka, Lindholm, I would imagine Huberdeau's out there again with Rasmus Andersson to see if the Flames can get on top here.
Yeah, after a rough start and some zone time from the Flames, they seem to have picked it up. Obviously, the power play helped, but
for sure,
they responded very good.
We are saying here, don't think you can challenge anything unless there's a goal on the play. I think that makes sense. I think that's how it used to be anyway, from my understanding. But no, that's a good point. Columbus, though, doing a very good job as Calgary will have a little bit more time on the power play as this 5-on-3 is coming to an end. Noah Hannafin's going to get a chance on Martin, just goes wide.
Good chance.
And now we're back to 5-on-4 with 1:30 to go. Anderson from the point.
I'm just going to say this is also refreshing to see other teams not resort
on here. Hold on. It's a bad angle. Didn't really have anything going for him there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, it's very refreshing to see a power play where you're not constantly doing the draw pass. I mean, that's a clean entry right there. You get the opportunity. You try to set it up. Like, I wish the Maple Leafs would not do that upon entry because they have players with speed to just drive it in.
Well, that's what it used to be with when Gaudreau used to be on the Flames. A lot of the times it was like drop back in the neutral zone, right? Like those drop passes that just weren't working anymore. As Martin's been very good early on. He's seeing the puck
seeing everything.
45 seconds left in the power play. Lindholm over to Anderson. Anderson goes back to Lindholm. Good chance. Just goes wide. Rosici grab it. And it looks like they'll clear it here with 35 seconds to go. Yep. Martin's been playing well, though, but again, like I'm still seeing like they're not like bad chances. Like they are good opportunities here, and I don't think that they're getting bodies in front, but Martin's just seeing the puck really well.
I feel like also the movement is good, but I think they're taking that extra second when they receive the pass.
You got it. Man, they've been trying. That's a bad tip out. I was just about to say too, like something that I wanted Calgary to work on a little bit was trying to set up more on these power plays when they have these opportunities, and I think they've been doing a much better job of that. Oh, goes up and wide.
I mean, that was pretty crafty.
As the penalty is now over, nothing comes of it, and Columbus has cleared the power play with 7:10 to go. Oh my God!
I have to feel that Markstrom has been not, he hasn't been busy for like a good 5 minutes or so right now because play is already in the jacket zone.
I was gonna say sometimes that's not a good thing though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I will say this is probably a good thing because he has been busy early on.
Right,
a breather, and that was a
man. Fantilli's
that fast. Was quick.
Holy crap! He's a fast guy.
Oh. The speed, but also the swiftness and the velocity of his shot right there. Like it's literally on par with Bedard's, but I think he's got more power than him.
Right. Oh God. As we are in commercial break now, and we get to take a deep breath. They showed Erica Branson at the end before they went to commercial break.
Seidel doing skip the dishes commercials now.
Yay. Well, hey, they got to do something because Edmonton hasn't looked good the last couple games. I know, but like I think with a team like Edmonton, you would imagine that they're more than likely going to pick it up at some point. Mm-hmm. But you wonder, I don't know, like I think you have to assume that they're going to go pick up a goaltender at the deadline, right? Do they have to do it?
They're at that point now where they not just have to do it at the deadline. You probably have to rethink things over right now and get it done sooner than later. Kind of like Tampa Bay right now. I think they have the offense and defense to try and like level the playing field. Goals against are going to be high, but they can still pull out some wins with the firepower they have.
Absolutely.
You'll probably expect the same thing with Edmonton, but you cannot rely on that tandem because even Stuart Skinner has looked very shaky at start the season as well.
Yeah, and it is the start, and you don't want to judge obviously a couple of games in, but I don't even know who you would rely on at this point. I think like they don't have a choice. Like they have to find a way to go back and forth with these guys, right? Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know, like depending on what their cap situation looks like, you might have to give something fairly pricey up in order to acquire a John Gibson, whose name has been thrown around quite a bit. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. There are going to be teams out there be like, well, if you want this player, you got to pony up kind of thing.
Right.
Like they're going to not necessarily, well, they are going to play hardball because like, well, you know what? You're in a tight spot, But even so, like trying to look at their depth chart, like they got nobody even to call up at this point. So yeah, they got to just ride the wave at this point.
And you have to think like, yeah, you got to ride the wave. But then I'm curious to see like where they end up 20, 30 games into the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're losing to teams like Philadelphia already like this, and you lost 2 really bad games to Vancouver,
yeah,
like that's not a good sign because you know you're going to play tougher teams going forward. You know that you're going to play Vegas in your division. You know that you're going to play Calgary. You know that you're going to play, tough teams still in the East in Carolina and New Jersey and the Rangers and all these guys, right? Like, it's not to say that it's going to get easier because these games that they're losing to are teams that are non-playoff teams, right? Like
same with the Leafs.
Well, exactly, right?
Struggling against teams that are below them in the standings or going to be.
You can't even when we were watching, for example, with Toronto, right? When they were playing Montreal early on, you can't be down 5-3 to that team on opening night. And I know they've had their number, but it's like, man, like you just can't be doing that to that team. You're better as I don't know who that was, but he almost had a break there. I think it was Walker Dewar who almost had a break there. I was really sad last night,
Yeah.
Peter, because I looked at the stands last night when they were in Buffalo, and there was like nobody there, and I'm like, oh well,
yeah,
I could have been there.
You could probably make the drive down.
I know, and I'm like, damn it, like I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't go. I just didn't get in the car and go.
Yeah.
But whatever, shit happens.
I was going back to the Oilers for a second, kind of like the Leafs too, with Keefe, and I believe he made these comments too. Like, you can't assess the goaltending unless your defense plays well. So I think Edmonton's defense hasn't looked very sharp, even with Matthias Ekholm back in the lineup. I think even if they try and find some consistency there, then you could try and see where you're at with goaltending. But I think right now it's, I don't know. See where you are at the end of the month, and then take it from there.
I'm surprised that Ekholm hasn't made that defense better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I think it also goes back to there was a lot of criticism with Darnell Nurse, right? Mm-hmm. And the fact that he wasn't playing at the level he was supposed to be at, especially because he got a big contract extension, and now you're kind of stuck with it, like you said, right? Especially with that team. So anyway. We're at commercial break here, and we got about 5 minutes left here in the first period. I was going to mention, because they showed Erica Branson early on in the just at the end there, and I wanted to ask what you think of that contract that they gave Goodbranson. It was like $4 by $4.5 million or 4 by 4 or something like that.
Yeah,
not pretty. I
mean, on paper, when we first saw it, considering what he's done over his career, $4 million for like a defenseman that's caught in his own zone quite a bit.
Right.
It's a bit risky, but they need to find placeholders for some of their defenders that are still up in the system coming up, that they know that they have a bright future.
For sure.
I think one of them is David Jiricek too, but I believe he's playing in this game right now, if I'm not mistaken. But
is Jiricek from Czechia?
Czechia, yep.
Czechia. Okay, that's what I thought. Because I think he was at the World Juniors last year.
He was. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. His name looked familiar. So okay, interesting.
Well, also you see another Jiricek this year for the 2024 draft. That is a relation that is his younger brother Adam.
Got it. Okay. Well, that family's gonna be happy
when
they both get in. And then speaking of the World Juniors, as they're just coming back into from break here. Did you see the news? I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week that Team Canada now has their head coach.
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
It is for the juniors, or it could also be for the Junior A championship as well.
Oh, okay. I thought it was specifically for the juniors, as we're back in action here. Shots 12-9 Calgary with 4:50 to go. But I think he played for the Sarnia, or excuse me, not play for. I think he coached or is coaching the Sarnia.
Alan Tang, yes. Yeah. No, he is named. So it did happen earlier this week. I was still thinking about the Junior A one because I did see something about that as well.
Okay. And they're in Sweden this year.
They're going to Sweden, yeah. And Brent Seabrook, I think, is also joining the team.
2-on-1 here for Columbus. Good chance in front. Rebound goes wide. No, he almost had it there too. That's the thing with this Columbus team, man. Like the guys like Fantilli and that are so fast. Is Gaudreau, chance in front.
Block, that's the transition game, speaking in volumes right there.
Man, it's such a good. I feel like that team's going to have a very good transition game with how fast they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing I'm thinking of for Columbus, that they just need a goaltender now.
Yeah.
It feels like they just need a goaltender.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And now that you lost, Korpisalo because of the trade last year, I mean, Elvis Merzlikins, if he's been good at times, but he's also been streaky. So you want that consistency. That's the one thing that you got to address in the offseason if and when a name becomes available. Again, seems like in that market, you're going to have to look to a trade.
Oh, absolutely. You have to, if you get to a point where that's all you need, right? I don't know. They're showing the stat here, 1-5-2 record in their last 8 games against Calgary. That's not pretty for Columbus, but anyway, it means nothing going into tonight. That's all I'm saying. But I was going to finish saying, oh my God, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, with Korpisalo, like I don't think he's necessarily a guy that's going to carry you. You know what I mean? Columbus getting some good chances here, good rebound. Markstrom's just been
Ooh, nice that angle shot.
Both goalies have been very good to start this period. It's only a matter of time of who's going to break first. But your thoughts, like, on Korpisalo? I mean, okay, Aiden Hill, goes in, wins the cup with Vegas, but I think Vegas was very deep. I don't know. I just don't think Korpisalo is. I don't know. I just don't feel like he's the type of guy that could step in for a team that, like Ottawa, for example. Are they deep enough to make maybe a good run in the sense that if Ottawa has a deep enough team, could he just be there to man the fort? You know what I mean? Like, not play lockdown hockey, right? But you know what I'm getting at? Like,
yeah, I do. And I think he's going to be that guy to man the fort, because I thought that Anton Forsberg was going to be the guy, but then he had, MCL injuries in both his knees, which is honestly, that in itself sucks. Like, it really does. But to have, a potential guy, because they're both roughly the same age, 29 and 30, to have a goaltender at 29 years old make that kind of money as a potential backup, because I still think Anton Forsberg can steal the job. He looked like that guy last season before the injuries. I think Korpisalo is just that placeholder. But, when you're making $4 million, that's kind of close to, just around starter money right there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goaltending situation plays out, because if he is Forsberg going to be your starter, then you got to move on from that $4 million contract sooner than later.
Exactly. And I mean, they must be kicking themselves with the way how Philip Gustafsson has kind of turned out in Minnesota.
That was a huge mistake right there.
Huge mistake that they should not have done that so early, but because now all of a sudden, I knew, like, I had a funny feeling he was going to turn out to be a pretty good goaltender anyway. I'm just shocked that they just let him go.
Which is odd that Minnesota made that deal, because they got Jesper Wallstedt coming up in as their top goaltender as well. So,
but having said that, like,
you have that depth.
It's a depth move, right? Yeah. So, and I mean, with Fleury there too, to just kind of like, he's at the end of his career where he can just hang around, do whatever, pass the torch, like give advice, kind of be that mental mentor or whatever. Like, that might be good for Minnesota in a sense of just having that depth and goal. Right now, what it looks like in front of them, that's maybe a story for another day. But I do like their goaltending depth for now.
Absolutely, yeah.
A minute left here. Both teams have had pretty good opportunities overall in the first. Pretty even. Nobody
in terms of play. Like, Calgary's got their own time. Columbus has got their own time.
Yeah. You can very tell too, like with these two teams, like the way they're approaching it is Calgary with a good chance, scrambling, trying to put something on, and I think that hit the bar outside post or just missed.
Hit something.
As puck goes out, 25 seconds to go in the first, and there was no score. But honestly, really good back and forth. I think you're seeing two completely different dynamics of two teams, and I think it's gonna be a good game tonight. I would hope. As he completely fans on that. 10 seconds left to go in the first. And
was that Hanifin?
I think that was Hanifin,
15, 16. Oh, I think it might be Zadorov.
And that will be the end of the first.
That is. Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. It's early. Everybody gets
entertaining game.
Yeah.
Chances back and forth. You love to see that.
As we are tied after one period. What are your thoughts after the first period?
Again, very entertaining. Both teams made their mark. They got their zone times. I think Calgary may have had a lot more high danger chances. Like, the last sequence there where that was Weegar that sent that wide and he was looking skyward there.
He knows.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew it. Not as bad as Morgan Riley's, but he's probably something that he should have had. But Flames, played very well despite playing the night before. Blue Jackets, their speed could be an issue.
Yeah.
20 minutes in the book. I can't wait to see what the next 20 bring.
Yep. And I think both goaltenders have been really good so far.
They're on point.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I think we'll take a break. I'm going to loop it twice again tonight for the commercial. Just because I like how that's a thing now. And we'll be back.
Sounds good.
Okay. We are back, as there's no score after one in this very entertaining game so far between the Flames and the Blue Jackets. I was going to say, if anybody wants to comment anything in the comments, ask any questions, any predictions, any stupid comments, I'm down for anything at this point, as you can see.
Probably in check.
We got no score after one here in what's a very entertaining game so far. There is only one other game going on tonight in the NHL. The Devils are in New York to take on Long Island to take on the Islanders. I hate when it's two New York teams because it's like, oh, they're in New York, and it's like, what goddamn team?
One, but it also kind of throws me off too because they're all within like a short distance of each other too, right?
That's what Neil from our Devil State of Mind podcast says, right? Like he is about 15 minutes from the Devils arena, but he's also like half an hour from MSG, and he's like a train ride or two to the one on Long Island. Yeah. So that's from what I hear. Like, I don't know the area that well, but that's from what I can hear. As Kelly says, Long Island is no man's land to me.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I have only been to New York once, and I only went to like downtown Manhattan. That's the only thing I could even say. I haven't been to Jersey. I haven't been to, where the Islanders are. So.
Was it recent that you went, or what was the deal with that?
Years ago, about 2017.
Oh, so not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? Did you like just random trip to
visit
go?
Family.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah,
right.
made a full day out of it going down. So
you kind of have to, right? Did you use subway systems in there and that?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this right now. Toronto's like 50 years behind the New York transit system.
For those of you who don't know, the TTC, as we call it, or the GO, is probably one of the worst systems on planet Earth.
I'd say GO is a little bit better.
GO is fine.
Their scheduling can be off, but it's nowhere near as bad as TTC. But it is just the absolute worst. Yeah,
TTC is ridiculous.
I also implore or tell everybody to go and look at the map of the TTC and compare that to New York, Montreal, Paris, UK. Just for sheer comparison, and you will laugh just by looking at it.
It's like
it's a U shape and two lines across.
It is. It's a joke, right?
Basically.
And it's stupid because you have Union Station, which is, for those of you who don't know, the main station downtown Toronto, right? The main hub. And everything goes there, right? You have lines that go out to, as us Ontarians know, like Barrie, Hamilton, Peterborough, you name it, all the way around. And it all goes into one fucking hub. And it's so stupid, right? Whereas you go to, I imagine, New York and all that, and it's different hubs, but they're nicely spread. It's ridiculous. It makes you
spread out. You get to every single location,
and just like seeing on the news too, like the horror show that is Union Station, like with the crime that's happened there. Like even this past summer, I don't know if you've seen like all the news, like with just all sorts of violence on that. And I know bigger and that, but this was like really, really bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me personally not want to go to Toronto anymore. We were down there last weekend. We were down in Toronto last weekend just doing they wanted to do Wingstop. Our friends wanted to go to Wingstop. Did you know there's Wingstop now in Toronto?
Wingstop? No.
Go to Wingstop in Toronto. It was actually really good.
I'll have to check that out right now.
Yeah. So, because I wasn't familiar with it at first, but we apparently just wanted to go to Wingstop and then hit these couple of stores, right? Mm-hmm. But to my understanding, we went to Wingstop once where it's like the fast food of chicken wings, right? Where you go in and it's very limited selection with like the wing sauces, and you can get combos with like you get fries and a drink with it or whatever, right? But you can look at their menu too. And there's like 3 or 4 Wingstops now in Toronto. I was actually very surprised. I thought it was very well, like it's pretty neat, not gonna lie. So I'll support Wingstop because I thought it was really good. So
beautiful.
Write it down.
I'm just trying to find a close location that would be near me, and the
one that I went,
the main hub.
The one that I went to that I would recommend is, I think it's on Bloor Street.
Oh, okay.
Queen and Bloor, I think.
Yeah, Bloor Street.
Yeah, you got it. So that's the one that we went to, but also like the inside was like really cool. Anyway, back to some hockey here for a minute. No score after one. We're kind of taking a bit of a break here. If anybody has any questions, comments, or anything to kind of pass the time throughout the commercial break and intermission, just let us know. As we're on here, Peter, I know you guys kind of had you guys dropped an episode this week, correct? For Sticks in the Sticks?
It will be happening on Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday.
Scheduling, again, it was kind of not necessarily tough to maneuver around, but we always try to find like a date with all of us to record. And Sunday is going to be the date where we will record the next episode of Six in the Six. And you can rest assured that we have a lot to talk about, given how it's very 4 games in, and we are going to overreact because why not?
And especially since they go to Tampa Bay tomorrow night, as Ashley's dropping in. What's going on, Ashley? Thank you for joining us tonight.
How's it going?
As I'm curious who you support as well, too, for the Flames and the Blue Jackets tonight. But yeah, Peter's, again, very nice enough to come on tonight. He is not a Flame or a Blue Jacket fan. He is a diehard Leafs fan, as they have the Sticks in the Six podcast. But I did want to ask what your thoughts are going into tomorrow night as the Leafs do head to Tampa to battle the Lightning.
I mean, you thought you would send a statement to the team that eliminated you. I hope you have a better outcome to the team that you eliminated against in the playoffs. That's going to be my one thing that I'm going to be looking at. And if they're able to find some consistency defensively, because it seems like, there's only 1 or 2 defensemen that are actually playing well, and that's Morgan Riley and Mark Giordano. Jake McCabe has struggled to start the season. I thought he looked better in that game against the Panthers because I think he was paired up with Liljegren, and he was more of kind of like a steady two-way defender. And I think he knew his role in that situation as opposed to Klingberg as his partner. Going to see that, and to see if just like, Bertuzzi, he's been dealing with an ailment, seeing if he can be healthy and pick his game up and try to find some chemistry with Matthews and Marner. Same with Max Domi, because out of all the additions, he's kind of been the least impressive at this point. So I would like to see him have a big statement game, especially against Tampa Bay. Yeah,
and you'd kind of expect that, right? You would hope that that's where it turns to. Mm-hmm. Ashley wondering who we're cheering for tonight. I think it's obvious who I'm going for tonight. Do you have a preference for tonight?
I mean, I did pick Calgary to win, so I'm not gonna change, picks mid game. Okay. So I'm gonna stick by Calgary.
Okay, fair enough. As Avatar's also an Avalanche fan who loves watching hockey. It's always good for just anybody who enjoys hockey, but Avalanche is always a good pick. As I think they're undefeated. They are as well. So both the Avalanche.
I was a little hesitant too with Georgiev as the starter still. I think putting that to rest. It's not that they didn't have a solid lineup or anything like that. I still wasn't sold on the goaltending.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just about to say that. I mean, again, if you could have you don't need to have a big name goaltender to carry you into the playoffs, and we saw that last year. So, maybe Georgiev has found his game and he's elevated it. So that's a good sign for Colorado.
It is. I'm really curious to see how Jonathan Drouin fits into that lineup. I think he played. I had the Kraken Avalanche game on for a couple minutes the other night, and I saw that he was second line with. Oh my God, I can't remember who, but anyway, I saw him on the second line. So I'm curious, how he's going to fit, and I really hope he finds his resurgence a little bit. You know what I mean? I think he deserves it. For all the years that he hasn't found his footing, I guess, or his place maybe. But I hope he does kind of establish that again. And I think it's going to be good. Can you imagine if there's an injury? God forbid that an injury happens, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Drouin has to go up to the first line and he has to play with Nathan McKinnon. Right? Do you remember Halifax Mooseheads back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 2013 team.
Yeah.
At that point, I thought maybe Drouin probably could have been the better player because he was a little bit more dynamic than McKinnon. But obviously, McKinnon has been by far the best player at this point. But I would have thought that Drouin, he's had personal issues, injuries, stuff like that throughout his career. That I think being with McKinnon, that's some sort of familiarity right now that's going to help him big time.
Yeah.
He did get an assist on McKinnon's first goal in the season against LA, and he was on the top line with him and Rantanen. So I don't know if he's going to be there now or if he's still there. So, But yeah, if he does find some consistency, I think it will work out for him and the team.
We'll see. Ashley was asking if the game did start. It has started. We are at intermission. We're just bypassing the time as they're showing Jaromir Jagr stuff going on right now in intermission. But yeah, they're just intermission right now. And for those of you wondering, it is no score after one between the Flames and the Blue Jackets. Shots were pretty high. I think they were like 4. Does it say what the shots were on?
It was like 13-12.
Okay, so they're pretty close. Yeah. High score, high shots on goal, and they are pretty close. As I mentioned, just had Tony up there before. Wings fan rooting for Calgary win tonight. Love to see it.
14-11.
14-11. Okay. So they're still pretty close though. And we will leave it like this, as I think they're just going to one more commercial break, and then they're going to bring it back up. But would love to hear your guys' questions or any comments, what we think about the game tonight, any predictions we have for the Flames or the Blue Jackets this season. I know I haven't. I mean, I don't know. We did our season previews back in, oh my God, like August, like so long ago, right? I don't know. I haven't really dived into my expectations for this team this year, because I know we kind of rambled through all the teams, but I'll start with you, Peter. Maybe we'll kind of give 2 real quick season predictions here for both teams. Let's start with the home team in Columbus tonight. Where do you see them finishing this season?
I think they could finish as high as 6 in the Metro. I still think they'll probably be low, like a low team in the C. So I think 6 to 7 they'll finish in between there, depending on how bad other teams are playing as well.
Right.
I think that's going to be the main thing, because that is a very competitive division. I think your top 4 is automatically set with, surprisingly, Philadelphia's 3-1. I thought they would be at the bottom ahead of Columbus.
Beating Edmonton last night, right?
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, but I think Carolina, Rangers, Islanders, Carolina, Rangers, Devils, Islanders are going to be your top 4 teams eventually. Yeah. And then I think Columbus may finish 7th. I think maybe reality falls down to earth for the Flyers. And, Washington too, I think they could probably be one of those teams in the bottom 3.
I don't imagine this Philadelphia thing lasting long, right? I think longevity, I think like just longevity in general, like within the regular season is just going to mean a lot. For all the teams, really. Like, I think that's what really makes the difference between good teams and teams that don't make the playoffs is like, how long can you keep this up for? How long can this consistency keep up for? So yeah, like I don't think a team like Philadelphia for me is going to last long per se, even though they have been very impressive to start the season. And obviously they hope to continue that. Like I think Columbus is getting there. I don't think they're there yet. Yeah. Would it shock me that they make the playoffs? Yes. I see them kind of sitting anywhere between, like you said, like 5th or 6th, but even in 5th, I still don't have them missing the playoffs as well. As Ashley does have to go, we thank you for coming on, though. We appreciate it. And if you do want to check us out, we do have another stream going on as well, too. We have the Devils and the Islanders. Our Devils Puck Luck guys are doing our Devils game, and it's the only 2 games going on in the NHL tonight. And Saturday Night Hockey is starting tomorrow for THPN. We were supposed to start that last week, but had complications. But we are starting it tomorrow. We're trying to make it every Saturday night a thing, where we try to include all the teams in the NHL and just try to be inclusive with all of it. So tomorrow night's marquee matchup is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes heading to Colorado to take on the Avalanche. And I believe our Caniac guys are going to be covering that game tomorrow. And I think it starts at 8:00. So but yeah, no, just what you mentioned there, Peter. I like your prediction for Columbus. I think they finish anywhere between 5th, 6th in that area there. I think that's a fair statement. And then for Calgary, I'll let you go. I wanted to hear your thoughts on where you think the Flames finish up this year as we start the second period.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that can make the playoffs. It's just now with a new coach in the system, and you're not dealing with the backlash of Sutter behind the bench and everything like that. I think there's going to be a little bit more of a motivation factor for everybody to prove that last season was a down year. They're putting it behind them and they're going to make an impact. I think they can make a wild card spot, but it's going to be. But again, the Pacific Division is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the fact that Edmonton is 1-3, they're holding down a top 3 spot right now. Is that going to last? Plus, there's
Are they
Kings.
really?
Yeah.
What,
They're
like
third. It's Vegas, LA, and Calgary currently right now. Vancouver is in the fourth spot at the moment.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I thought you said they were in the top 3. I was like, what?
Oh, no, not overall in the league. Sorry. Yeah. In the Pacific. They are holding down a spot right now. And if they could do that, I think they can be in that playoff conversation. But if they fall out, it's going to be in that, 4 to 5 range, depending on what happens in the wild card.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, the biggest question mark, if Seattle doesn't perform well, then I like our chances. I just noticed that, okay, they had an impressive win last night or whenever it was when they played Carolina. I think it was last night. But anyway, I think for me, it's really going to hinge on what Seattle does this year. And I think it's going to hinge on what the Kings do as well, too. I think they've looked good early on. Just looking at their schedule, like they early lost to, they lost to Vegas, Colorado, Vegas was a preseason game, my bad. Colorado opening night, they lost to them, lost to Carolina in a shootout, beat the Jets, beat the Wild. Like, they've been pumping the brakes off these teams, like just scoring goals galore. I think the Kings do make it, but just to get on what I was saying, I think they sneak in. I don't think – I'm going to stick by what I said with them, like, early on, where I think they get in, but it's not like I don't think this team's going to make a big push unless they decide to really make a big move at the deadline. You know what I mean? I just don't see it happening for this team right now. I think I like it, and I do like the fact that they make the playoffs, whether it be a 3rd seed in the Pacific or a wild card spot.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do a lot if they do happen to get in. We've seen weird crap happen before with Florida last year, but yeah, that's where I see Calgary kind of finishing up as we're 3 minutes into the second. So there you go. As Tony's saying, the great banter, we appreciate it. He's a Wings fan, and we mentioned earlier. I think you mentioned it earlier that the Red Wings, they're 3-1 now, correct?
They are,
and
they're 3-1.
Yeah,
6 points already.
I'm so curious to see how well they do this year. Just because they get the acquisitions of, they get DeBrincat in there. They get JT Compher in there, among others. Ville Husso's back in the pipes. And I think he had an off year last year, correct?
Yeah.
He's kind of had like an up and down kind of year. So I think he kind of like Markstrom in the sense that he just bounces back to form a little bit. I like the Red Wings a lot this year. I have them like, it's funny. I have them teetering like on the edge of a playoff spot, but if they're in, I don't know if anybody really wants to play that team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they might, I have that feeling
it's a
like
team that can surprise everyone.
Yeah, big time. So, they're in your division. So what do you think of Detroit?
Yeah, I think with Husso, I think it was just mainly because that was the first year he ever like took the reins as a NHL starter. I mean, he came in relief or at times played better than Jordan Binnington when he was with the Blues and he signed that contract. I think it was, not necessarily intimidating, but no. That was a bad giveaway. I just looked up and saw that.
Go ahead.
Not that it was like intimidating for him, but he did struggle at times. And also, the defense situation, I was very concerned with the players that they got and added on the blue line. I thought it would be a big detriment to that, but so far it's looking very well. And, how Justin Hall was, kind of like a very polarizing player, scapegoat kind of player because of his bad defensive play. And he signed in Detroit and we didn't expect much, but he's sort of looking a little bit better right now because he's on a team that's ahead of the Maple Leafs right now. Kind of like
oh, wait, hold on. Another fight going on here. Looks like Corrali getting into it with, it looks like Walker Dewar. No, it wasn't Dewar. I think it was somebody else. Maybe Blake Coleman. Nope, Sharon Govich, sorry. As both going on, they just split it up. I thought another fight was going on. Very chippy game tonight between those two. And just to finish up the Detroit point here, as Tony was saying, like Husso did fade last year a little bit, and this year he's been a better backup. Who's their starting goaltender then if he's a backup?
They did sign James Reimer.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so Reimer's like, they're kind of just jockeying now.
Back and forth at this point.
Yeah. Got it.
It wouldn't surprise me if also Detroit kind of falls back to earth a little bit, kind of like the Flyers. I mean, early season success is great. And this is the kind of step that you want to take with a team like that that's starting to move up into the standings or move up and be a little bit more competitive. But I don't know. I still have the question marks, especially on defense.
As play is still going on here.
Another bad turnover.
Bad turnover again. Jackets, a couple of bad turnovers here. Shots are 16-13 for Calgary with about 15 minutes left here in the second, as the Flames are just trying to move into the offensive zone here. They're kind of playing around the neutral zone a little bit. Nothing crazy going on here.
And also, Kirill Marchenko is kind of the guy you don't want to give the puck up to, because the dude had like
chance goes wide. Wow.
He had like kind of like a Cy Young season where he had like a hell of a lot of goals, but very little assists.
Yeah.
Last season. And he's a very sharp shooter.
So as play was going on there, I wanted to ask you another question, as Tony confirms that Reimer's the backup. So Husso
is the
starter, but I agree that they are kind of playing a lot of back and forth, probably giving each other like 40 and 40, 35, 55 games.
Managing the games for Husso. Don't want to
right, you got
it.
Too. As a Leafs podcast and Leafs fanatic, is this a team that you're worried about when you do have to play those 3 or 4 games that you have to play this year against Detroit?
I mean, I still think that, they'll make it interesting. I still think maybe the Maple Leafs will come out on top of that series. I'm more worried about the Ottawa Senators at this point than I am out of the 3 teams that are competing for, the top spot or the top 3 spots in the Atlantic. I am more worried about the Ottawa Senators than I am about Detroit and even Buffalo at this point.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So not to say that Detroit is going to be bad. The Maple Leafs fared better against Detroit in the preseason than some of the other teams that they played against. Obviously, preseason doesn't matter anymore at this point, but I think they're well equipped to still handle Detroit at this point because they had their number last year. I think they could do it again this year.
I think you'd be surprised. I'm just looking at, because you told me to go on Daily Faceoff, and they're looking at the lineups here.
But their top 6 seems a little bit more balanced out, especially with the break.
However, like bottom 6, even David Perron, Joe Veleno, Daniel Sprong, who's a quietly good player, Fisher, Klim Kostin they got from Edmonton, Austin Zarnik, maybe you can find a better 4th-line center, just saying. Defensively, though, like you got Sider, you got Petrie, Sherratt, Wallman, Mata, Gostisbehere. Not the prettiest defensive core, but hey, you're led the way by Sider, right?
Yeah.
As Tony mentions here too, though, it's Sens and Wings tomorrow night in Ottawa, so that should be a phenomenal game. Avatar mentioning that Drouin was moved up to the first line with McKinnon and Ranson in the second period. The rest of the game, okay. I think I saw like just in terms of the game that I threw on with the Kraken and the Avalanche the other day, I just saw like the graphic they had Drouin on the second line. Listen, I don't know about all these goddamn teams, okay? Like I just call it as I see it, okay? As we get back to the game here a little bit here. Shots 16-15 now, just under 15 minutes to go here. Still no score, and I don't know about you, Peter. I think we were both expecting maybe a goal at some point by somebody.
They're playing very conservative. They don't want to give up, especially at this point right now where you're getting to the halfway point. I mean, Calgary turned it over quite a bit. I think everyone's being very careful what they're doing with the puck right now. They don't want to give up that goal.
It makes sense. Yeah, I think it just has that feeling that tonight's first goal is going to be a pretty important goal tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Go. What happened? Oh, no.
Oh, am I 5 seconds ahead?
No. Are you ahead?
I saw the Sully before, yeah.
How far ahead are you? Well, it's going to be
Sean Corrali is doing the fist bump.
Ah, damn.
I will pause it. I thought we were on time.
That's a tough goal to let in, though, as, like they just scored. Let me know when they drop the face off, and then we'll reconnect here again as
2-on-1 odd man rush 2. Oh, that is a good. That was a perfectly good play shot.
I don't know. I just want to see the replay. Okay, they're showing the replay now. So bad 2-on-1. Oh, they pressed a little too deep there.
Yeah.
I think Anderson had the guy there though, so I'm surprised that Markstrom wasn't more
13:29 right now.
Oh, are they playing right now? Oh, I'm not
there yet.
You might want to pause it.
Yep, pause it.
I'll let you know when the puck drops. I'll just start counting down again. But I don't know. I'm surprised. Okay, here we go. 13, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24.
There we go.
There we
go. We're in the same spot.
No, I was surprised that Markstrom wasn't more prepared for that because it looked like Anderson just kind of had his man there on the right. You know what I mean?
And he took the lane away. You knew Corrali was probably going to think shot. You probably could have squared up a little bit better.
Right, exactly. Look, I don't care what happens tonight. I just want to see Calgary score a goal tonight. Okay,
yeah.
I'm not asking for much here. Okay, like I just want that. Okay.
I will say this: like I hated Sean Corrali when he was on the Bruins, but I love the player that he is.
Yes,
on the ice. Him, Denton Heinen, Noel Chari, that rough and tumble kind of player. Very aggressive and chippy, but is smart offensively as well.
When did Crowley come over to Columbus? A couple of years ago? Because I think he's been here for a while now, if I'm not mistaken.
Going to see. Hang on, this is why I love Cap Friendly too, because they'll have the history of everything.
We're big fans of Cap Friendly over here.
Oh yeah,
which I started to use more as like the season's kind of started.
So,
okay,
21-22 was when Crowley signed or he became a Columbus Blue Jacket. So 2020-21 was the last year Crowley was with the Bruins. I believe that was the COVID-shortened season.
Oh, okay.
And then signed with the Blue Jackets.
He definitely signed as a free agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Didn't expect Sean Crowley to score tonight. And what I was going to tell you actually earlier on I used the Tim Hortons app yesterday and I saw that they were doing the hockey challenge.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? I haven't done this in forever. So I did it yesterday and I didn't actually check to see. I had William Nylander to score yesterday.
Okay.
I think
he got an assist.
Oh, I got one player.
There you go.
I had Walker Dewar, believe it or not, for Calgary. And I had Wyatt Johnson for the Stars, and I had William Nylander for the Leafs.
That Calgary pick really coming in your favor right
now. Not bad, eh? I gotta do that tomorrow actually, because you get like
just pick obscure players on every or like in one of the major games and just run with it.
You got it.
I think that's a little bit more fun.
It's so much fun. We just picked like random players completely. As Angus is back on,
man. How's it going, Angus?
Been a while. Glad we're back on again. Schedule for tomorrow night. The Leafs are in Tampa Bay at 7:00. The Capitals are visiting Montreal at 7. The Canucks are in Fort Lauderdale to take on the Panthers. And you got an all-Canadian matchup between the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. Who needs that win more? Do you think Edmonton really needs to get that done tomorrow night against the Jets? Because the Jets haven't been great lately either.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams need it, but Edmonton desperately needs it a little bit more considering the expectations that are on them this season.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
I would love for, Kyle Connor to pop off because, fantasy hockey. But, but also I have McDavid too. So either way, I like both players to get me points at this point. So
no way, same. As
good save at the blue line there.
Not get a chance on there.
That was a good save at the blue line.
Martin's playing well though. I give him a lot of credit.
I
think both guys are playing well. I think it was just one silly 2-on-1 that's really been it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say, oh my God, another bad turnover there.
Ooh, and that's offside, yeah.
Okay, all right. I was like, is that offside?
I mean, it's very difficult when you intercept the puck right at the blue line as it comes out, and everyone's still in there. You're just itching to go in because you want to get that, 3-on-1, 3-on-2. You want to get that odd man rush going, and it's just so difficult. So I can understand why the hesitation was a little bit there from everybody.
They were showing the 2-on-1 there. I think it was Hanifin who was at the blue line, and he just got beat by Corrali, who went the other way.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that Hanifin just kind of stood at the blue line for that long. I don't think he thought that the play was going to escalate that quickly with 1-1, right?
Yeah. So, but then again, I mean, it's the NHL. Things unfold.
You got to be aware
quickly.
Of these things.
There we go.
No trip.
Oh, that could have.
Hello. Where's the trip on that?
Yeah, that was.
Unless you just fell. I completely I kind of missed it at the last half second, but I was like, trip.
I think that's always our first
Oh, 100%.
First reaction, no matter what penalty? Hello? Like,
I can't count the amount of times like where you're like, oh yeah, that's a penalty all day long.
Yeah.
Screw you. Like, it's bull crap.
Even deep down, like when I'm watching a game with like family or friends or whatever, I say, I'm like, yeah, it's a penalty. And then like, really? I'm like, no, not really. Like, there are times where I'm being very sarcastic about it, but there are times where I'm like, okay, that
makes sense, right? Yeah. But I love it just for like the sake of like doing it. You know what I mean? As what do we got here? Devils and Islanders are tied at 1. It's funny because I checked too because they were no score. I checked it like maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. As look, I don't get nervous anymore about these games. I really don't. Like, I got more important things to worry about in life, but I am a diehard Flames fan. I know what to expect from this team. Don't worry about it. It's also early. It's 1-0. Like, you can't expect this. I mean, 2 might be tough, but I knew like
you ever the rookie.
Okay. You ever expect like when you for yourself, like when you watch Leaf games and they play backup goaltenders, the Blackhawks the other night when we were on, right? Soderblom. Like, do you ever think to yourself, like, this guy's going to stand on his head tonight?
Oh, that's the model for Maple Leaf fans. Whenever a backup or like a goalie that's inexperienced comes in, you're expecting a Vezina performance.
You're like, oh,
it's always the case.
This guy.
There's no middle ground. There's not like, yes, we should beat this goaltender. Yes, we can't beat this goaltender. It's, yep.
Like you just
like you always think worst case scenario, no matter what.
Right.
Even a rookie's first game, you're always expecting or putting money down that he's going to score his first goal against the Leafs because, yeah.
That's respect. Ruzicka was kind of on a break there. I don't know why. It was kind of a bad pass from Ruzicka there.
Kind of seemed like he hesitated, waiting for somebody to like
a little bit. Yeah,
try to find the trailer, but
didn't love it. As Markstrom's a little bit far out of his net. I'd like for him to come back.
Ooh, yeah.
I
could have ended badly.
Oh, I know, right? A couple of wonky plays, and the Blue Jackets have been fairly lucky though because they have turned the puck over a lot.
And even when Calgary's getting their rushes the other way, they're breaking the plays up and intercepting them very, very quickly.
Oh, for sure. Do you think by the end, Calgary it's going to get a good shot here? Looks like nothing came out of that. Do you think by the end of Johnny Gaudreau's career that his move to Columbus was like, do you think it like escalated his career or like just completely like him not going anywhere to try to like win a cup or like just his career in general? Like, where do you think like by the time it's all said and done, are you going to look back on his time in Columbus and go like, was it a successful one or didn't go the way it panned out?
I mean, I think that is a very interesting question because he was. I know. He was in the limelight and he was the star player,
right,
on the Flames, and then he goes to a team where maybe that's up and coming. He's still an important player and like top name, but maybe he's going to play a little bit of a backseat to a team where they're going to be on the up and coming very soon. And I would have thought that maybe New Jersey was a top destination for him because I think he is from New Jersey. I would have thought that he would have gone home there, but he picked Columbus and that kind of shocked a lot of people, but
I think Philly was also like right there too.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of his career, I don't think it's going to like impact the importance of it because still one of the like top premier playmakers and very skilled players or skilled wingers in this league,
right?
I just think obviously the points aren't going to come as much because they're still in that in between phase, and it looks like
Calgary's going to the box.
Delay game.
Yeah, looks like
I saw every single Blue Jacket player just like pulling right up, and I'm like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, we know where that's going.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing the replay here.
I just think.
Oh, for God's sake. That's like boom right out there.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just about to say it's a very interesting question because, he was like elite, but now he's just kind of like, superstar-esque kind of thing. Like not elite level anymore, but he's like kind of gotten a step back. But it's still going to be one that could vault Columbus very deep if they do get to the playoffs or like make a deep run.
Be interesting because they did give him like clearly not as much as what Calgary was going to offer him. I'm kind of glad, like looking back on it, like, you know what, maybe we didn't need to give this guy $11-12 million, right? But what do we know? As Angus is going to the Blues and Sabres game on November 30th.
Yeah.
I in Buffalo, I imagine, or in St. Louis. I don't know what it is. I'm going to look at that real quick because I'm going to see St. Louis next week, actually.
There we go. He had 74 points last year.
Oh, he
First
did.
season as a Blue Jacket. So that's still pretty good.
For I don't know. I think for the caliber of a player that he's supposed to be, I would expect. I don't know. I would expect him to put up 90+ points personally.
Oh, absolutely. But considering where the Blue Jackets were and where he's at, still think that's pretty good production wise.
At St. Louis, just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think just for the caliber of player that he's been over the last couple of years, I would assume that he's a guy that is a probably 85-90 point player. You know, like you're going to give him that kind of money, you better perform, right? As we are back from commercial break and Columbus.
I'm sorry, but like that, Americans don't know expletive about hockey commercial. That's
about which one?
No, you know the betting commercial there.
Oh,
Americans don't know about hockey. I'm not gonna lie, some of the answers and responses are pretty funny there. So
funny. As Columbus has Provorov, Line A, I imagine Gaudreau's out there. Can't imagine who's number 4 again. Sillinger out there again for Columbus. That's the thing. If this team gets on the power play, man, they could be so good. You know what I mean?
Because you got a lot of shooters there.
Oh, absolutely. As Line 18 one up and just went over the net there. As number 4. No, I thought 4 was Sillinger. Or am I wrong?
4 Sillinger, yeah. 42, that's Tessier.
Oh, okay. I'm getting my numbers confused then.
Yeah. I think it's because we didn't see the 2, we just saw the 4.
Right. That's right.
That's why.
That makes sense. 7:40 to go here. 1:38 left on the power play. Columbus leads 1-0 in this game. Shots are 22-16 for Calgary.
He's on the top unit as
I would imagine he should be.
He's there. He's there.
1 for 9 on the power play for Columbus. Not been the best as the faceoff will now go outside of the offensive zone. But yeah, next Friday I will be in Vancouver to see the Blues take on the Vancouver Canucks next week. So pretty excited about that.
Beautiful.
Yes. Are you going to a game anytime soon?
I wish I was.
Well, you can always just go to Buffalo if you want, right?
You could always go to Buffalo if, postal code and everything with the online tickets, if that's going to be a thing. But
right. Listen.
Unless I have, family in the States buy me tickets and then they just transfer them over to me. But
listen, the single
I'll be like, don't worry, I got you. I'll owe you the money.
The single best thing that I've ever bought. Oh, good save by Markstrom. I had to get that away.
Yeah.
The single.
It seemed like he was battling that shot though.
For sure. 57 seconds left. Columbus getting really good chances here. Nothing. Provorov skates so smooth. Hey, I love that I love how he skates.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth as Calgary will break it out here. Looks like it's going to be a 2. No, not really a chance given up there.
Yeah, they're just looking to kill time.
They're just trying to kill time here. Probably a good chance here. They're probably going to wind this clock all the way down as much as they can. I was going to finish saying the single best thing that I've ever purchased in my life now up to this point has been Nexus.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I love it. Look, it's a bit of a process.
I've heard good things about it where you just bypass all the lines crossing the border.
Right. And for if you look for us, I would find it more significant. I would have more use for it going to Buffalo. You know what I mean? Because you can also use it through security if you go through an airport or wherever you cross the border, right? You pay $50 for 5 years, right? And you don't
limited use too, so
exactly right. And you just go and good chance here for Calgary. Throw on 2. Nope, missed the net. No, you can just go through security as well too, at the airport, and not undo your belts and take off your shoes because you're a trusted traveler.
Yeah,
right. You can just go.
Very true.
And I'm like, sign me up. Let's do it.
It's funny you mentioned that because when I was at the Combine in Buffalo, I was talking, to Stephen Ellis, and he's also talking about Nexus as well, how that's like a very big lifesaver right there. So,
huge.
Yeah, probably something I should probably invest in if that's the case.
Well, but that's the thing too. Like, if you find yourself like you don't travel, not necessarily like through an airport, right? But if you do decide like you wanted to go to Buffalo and just go see a game, right? Just for shit and giggles.
Just an evening out.
Go on, see you later, right? Like, they don't ask questions, you just go, right? Was there a chance there? No, probably not. No, they're looking at, I don't know what they were looking at with the dump in. Oh, offside.
Offside, yeah.
Got it. Okay, I was like, what were they looking at there?
I was about to say, I'm like, who was it offside? Maybe Fantilli? I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, my point is that if I think if you do find that you do a lot of traveling and that you cross the border a lot, or if you go through airports and such, like, it's worth it. And listen, it's only $50 out of your pocket, right?
Yeah.
And it saves you so much time, especially if you have to go out of the Toronto airport ever. Like, oh my God, I've just heard nightmare stories about it, especially like, do you ever remember, I don't know how much you listen to Spit and Chicklets, but I listened to the odd episode here and there, but do you remember like when you went on the Tyrant about Pearson, like during COVID?
Oh, I saw the clip of it online. So yeah,
where he was like 26 hours in Pearson, and I'm like, yeah, I believe that.
I believe that, but also like during the pandemic too, when
there was no
all the security things and clearances, like that was like obviously safety was a concern for like health and everything, but yeah, it was backed up big time.
Yeah,
and even when I like had to go to Nashville,
yep.
I mean, there were times where like the line itself was like bad going and bad coming as well, and I'm like, damn.
Oh, you flew out of Toronto to Nashville.
To Nashville, then coming back in too. I'm like going there and back. Like at Pearson, it was a mess.
It's
like big time.
Yeah, like it's. I don't even know. Like I've learned my lesson now. Like when we go, if we ever have to like pick people up, like especially at, like anybody who ever picks people up at an airport, if you have people you have to pick up, go make them go to departures, and you go to departures too. That way, nobody's going in there, right? Everybody's going to arrivals at the same goddamn time, right? Yeah. Oh, it's such a lifesaver. But yeah, like so when I go, because I fly Friday to Vancouver, but I'm flying out of Kitchener.
Oh,
and
okay,
I'm not Toronto, right?
There's an airport at Kitchener?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I highly recommend, dude. Highly recommend. Either Kitchener or Hamilton. Highly recommend.
Really?
It's so worth it. Yeah. Like we went to Calgary last year, and we had a really good deal where we flew out of Hamilton. Calgary gets a good chance on Martin. No, I thought he scored.
Ooh, that was a very very cheeky pass right there.
Oh, bad giveaway. It's gonna be a 3-on-1. This is not good.
Yeah.
Line A.
Yeah. Oh God.
What a save by Jacob Markstrom. What a save by Markstrom.
Grand larceny with that goal. Wow.
Oh. What a save by Markstrom. And he keeps it at 1-0. As soon as Mackenzie Weegar went to poke that, I'm like, oh my God, this isn't going to be good.
Oh. I mean, that was a good move by Kadri right there. Oh.
Absolutely wrong.
Here's the thing: 9 times out of 10, that's going in. If you're Fantilli,
but I think with Fantilli, he had all top.
Oh yeah,
he was higher. He had it right.
Oh, welcome to the show, kid.
Friggin' saved by Markstrom, man.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. You just got absolutely robbed by Jacob Markstrom.
Not going to lie, knowing Fantilli, he'll like bounce back, and that's he'll put that behind him, and he's going to score many goals like that. Like that was perfectly timed too.
Well, 3-on-1.
I think he just would have got a little bit up. I think it would have been a goal.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. Another bad turnover.
It's 4-on-2. Looks like Anderson trying to get a shot on goal. Martin, no, tip to the side.
It's the play in the neutral zone that's very sloppy for Calgary at this point.
For baseball fan Peter here a little bit too, the Astros have beaten the Texas Rangers and now lead the series 3-2. No. Yes.
No, just don't tell me that.
Sorry, yeah. Altuve's late blow give Houston third straight win to take 3-2 lead in the ALCS.
Come on, Texas.
Yes.
Listen, I hate both teams, but like I said last time when we were doing the Chicago one,
You needed Texas.
I'd rather Texas because I loved Marcus Semien when he was with the Jays. I think they should have done everything to keep him, but I'm glad he's at this point.
I think this goes 7. I think this series goes 7.
I need everybody to just decimate the Astros because
I think it goes 7, and I still think the Phillies, even though they lost the Diamondbacks the other day, I still have Philly probably.
That was a close game if I recall, right?
Yeah, it was. Finishing up our conversation from before, because Angus says he takes an Uber to the airport. It is much easier, and also saying that the Astros are cheaters. So I think what we're trying to say though is that we don't like both teams, but if we had to pick one, I would probably agree with you that I'd rather see the Rangers get there.
I'm not one to hold grudges, but if you have to cheat to win yourself a championship with a garbage bag or a garbage bin, as well as, a little buzzer, because you saw Altuve like, no, don't rip the jersey or whatever.
Right.
That's very fishy. I'm sorry.
It also says a lot about Rob Manfred too, like the commish, about like not penalizing this enough. And
even the Astros management too, like they knew it happened and they were downplaying it. And I'm like, how can you do that?
Man. Exactly.
Like, come on.
What was I going to say? Oh, no, I was going to finish up what I was saying because Angus brought up the tweet that he takes Ubers.
Uber.
I was just going to say real quick that I have to take a lift from the airport to, I'm going to be staying at an Airbnb. And I get it, but I get not wanting to park, for us, at Toronto, if you can avoid parking at all costs, great. Because I know how bad it can be pricing wise there. But for me, when I go out of Kitchener or if I go out of Hamilton, they charge you $10 a day, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going for 4 days, it's only going to cost me $40, right? And that's probably what's going to cost you if you just go through an Uber. You know what I mean? There and then back. So it's at that point, you might as well just have your own car, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I have to be in a lift for half hour, 40 minutes just to get to this place.
Oh God. That's going to be a long track.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to I'm not looking forward to the ride back because I fly back Sunday night at 10:30 Vancouver time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 6 a.m. here when I land.
Oh God.
And I'm like,
different.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm not really looking forward to that. But
get as much sleep as you can on that plane ride.
I know. I'm well, it's gonna go by fast though because of the time change, right? But I'm man, I don't want to take a melatonin or anything like that before it happens, right?
Yeah.
As Kelly Swim first Devils goal for Toffoli, so Toffoli pots went in.
There you go.
The Devils, and I'm curious to see how this deal works out in Sharangovich now being in Calgary and Toffoli going over there.
Mm-hmm.
When it happened, look, regardless of it being a third or if it was a third round pick or a second round pick, how high it should have been, and that the Devils did get a good deal out of Toffoli. Last time I checked, I think Toffoli does have one more year on his contract, correct?
Believe so.
Right. So he goes into free agency this year. So you give up Sharangovich, which
you could afford to.
Oh my God, line A off the post.
Ooh.
All right. Okay, wait here. Let's talk about it in a sec. Last minute and 15 seconds here. Connor coming in here. It's going all right. We're just down by 1 right now, but it's been a really good game. I think, I don't know, the goalies have been playing very well. Markstrom, Rob Fantilli earlier on, and both teams have been playing very well. So it's been a good game so far.
I will say this, Markstrom is doing a very good job of just keeping it at 1 because I am now ahead in my fantasy matchup.
Nice.
Because of Markstrom.
And
it would help if Lindholm could do something, but
I think Anderson hit the post too, and it just went wide. As 48 seconds left here in the second, as it's still 1-0 Columbus. While we're waiting for the puck to be dropped here, I was just going to say real quick, and then maybe if you want to chime in on it, that I don't think Sharangovich had a spot in New Jersey last time I checked. And it just gives him a chance to revitalize his career a little bit. And I don't know if Toffoli is going to re-sign in New Jersey after this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's on either end, really, okay, you're going to probably judge the deal by what happens this year.
Yeah.
right?
Because they also have 1.7 in cap space currently at the moment, according to Cap Friendly. But they signed Timo Meier long term. They signed Jack Hughes. They signed Jesper Bratt. Nico Hischier signed. You have Dougie Hamilton under contract as well. So you have your core already set.
It'll be tough to re-sign them.
They don't have a whole lot of. I mean, they have some UFAs and RFAs heading into next season.
Right.
Even on defense too, but you could clear up some space to still sign him. But if he's going to be asking for a bit of a pay increase, then it maybe
wouldn't be surprised.
You at least get him for one good run, possibly at this point.
Yeah,
and he could be a big difference maker in that run. If they resign him, that's going to be very tough.
Well, speaking of very tough, it's going to be a tough third period, I think, for Calgary to crawl back into this thing if they can't find a way. As it is 1-0 Columbus after 2. And as I said before, I just want one goal tonight. That's all I care about. But I think my thoughts real quick on the second, like Markstrom is keeping this team in this game. And it just, I think in longer term sense, it's making me feel better about this team going forward. I think the Blue Jackets have played very well tonight. I think Spencer Martin's played really well tonight. Markstrom's been keeping these guys in, but they have to start finding a way now to just getting in front of Spencer Martin, making his life a little bit more difficult, and just pepper what you can now at him because you got 20 minutes left. So, Peter, your thoughts on the second before we go to break?
Yeah, sloppy neutral zone play from Calgary, but even in the offensive zone too, like it seems like plays are dying on their sticks when they get to the middle of the ice, and they're just putting the puck in a bad spot. Like too many times they're just throwing it to the open wing. Nobody's there. They just aren't clicking at this point. So they really need to click in this third period right now. But still a lot of time to do that. It's only 1-0, but they got to dial it in.
Can't wait to soon get shut out by Spencer Martin. It looks like we'll go to commercial break. We'll do two commercials of it, and we'll be back. Yeah, I was going to say we'll give Peter a minute to come back, but it looks like he is back already as we are currently in the second intermission of the Flames and Blue Jackets game where, wait, hold on. It is currently 1-0 Columbus. And I just saw a thing. I don't know if you get a chance to watch the video, Peter, but apparently Sorokin won up what Markstrom did here in the second as Sorokin denied Jack Hughes right before the Devils scored. I think Hughes was all alone. Breakaway, stopped, backhand, disgusting glove save by Sorokin. It's probably beat out what Markstrom did tonight, but both were pretty damn good. So if you get a chance to see it, and you guys at home as well too, if you get a chance to see it, let me know what your thoughts are on the Sorokin save. Oh my God, I need to have a breath for a second. I think we've been talking for so much.
Trying to find
I don't know if I was louder.
Go through a timeline, but
Connor's saying what's going on, man.
Oh, Sorokin robbery. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Let me know when you see for that. As Connor, our Canucks fan, if only goalies are performing well, the restaurants they should win percentage of players' wages.
Yeah, and Jack Hughes had him beat too.
He did, I know. As it was Tyler Toffoli, and there actually is an update in that game as Toffoli gets 2 for the Devils as Tyler Toffoli finds his second on the power play. Game's still going on though.
Hughes, I believe. That
goes 5-hole, and we are tied 2-2 in the second. Still going on. Devils just scored again, 3-2 New Jersey. 3 goals within the span of 3 minutes in the second period to open up as the Devils are up 3-2.
Floodgates
They are showing it on intermission here. The Heritage Classic is October 29th. And for any of you who don't know, we do have a giveaway going on right now. We have over 100 people that have entered this contest where you are able to win a nice lace hoodie sweater from Everything Hockey. All you have to do is like the post that you'll see in our THBN channel. And you can also comment who your favorite Oiler and Flame is of all time. And you are entered in for a chance to win a awesome Everything Hockey sweater from Everything Hockey. If you have a chance, make sure you go follow them as well. The Heritage Classic is October 29th, where we will be announcing the winner at the first intermission. I will be not there for that. I will not be available for that one because I think, as it turns out, I will be working that night. So, or
unfortunately,
Sunday. Actually, no, I will be on a plane. So I will be.
Right. Is that the Canucks game, right?
So that's,
or is that something different?
No, that's on the way back. The Canucks game
okay.
is, so I think the Canucks game's on the 27th, but I fly back on the 29th, so I will not be available for that game, unfortunately, as I'm sure I'll tune in a little bit at the airport as I'll have a lot of time to kill. I thought I was working, but no, I'm going to be at the airport, so can't wait for that. But Peter, maybe you can watch it and let us know.
Yeah.
I think we'll have one of our guys from one of our Calgary or Edmonton guys. I think we'll end up doing that. So they can sub in and do it for themselves there.
Yeah.
We are about to start the third period soon. I keep seeing these Sports Interaction commercials. Do you get the same thing? Like the Chris Pronger and Leon Draisaitl one? Mitch Marner apparently too?
The Sportsnet?
No, yeah, like we're on the same one, but Sports Interaction.
I think I may be on a different commercial right now.
Okay, they've shown like a lot of Sports Interaction commercials, and it's Mitch Marner, Leon Draisaitl, and Chris Pronger.
Okay,
very weird combo, but anyway, that's okay. Connor saying he doesn't really follow the Isles, but he'll be honest. I laughed at the pathetic videos the fans made about Tavares. They need to grow up, and I would actually cheer if he ever scores again.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Connor.
Thoughts on what Connor's saying there about Tavares? I guess the Islanders fans haven't really gotten over that yet.
It's been like that for like years, ever since he left, and it's like, you know what? Like,
it's also 3.
You knew it was a little bit dicey because of the whole arena situation and all that, but you know what? He made a decision based on family too. Like, if you're gonna like completely berate and boo a guy because he made a decision solely on his family, that's just pathetic in my view. Like, get over it. It's over. It's done with. You had your little jeering session where you booed him constantly in his first game back. Time to put it in the backseat. Like, just leave it alone. Like, it's not worth anything right now. Like, it doesn't do anything good at this moment for the Isles, the fan base, or anything like that.
What people need to understand is that at the end of the day, you have a bunch of guys who are getting paid millions of dollars to play this stupid but amazing game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And guess what? I don't think 20 years from now, they're going to care less about little things that happen here or there. They don't give a rat's ass. They don't care, right? So we're just like for us specifically, like we just enjoy that, you know, that we're able to watch at this high of a level and like, you know, the way the competition is and all that. But man, like it's just like people need to grow up, that everybody's lives are able to make decisions personally and all that stuff. And, you know, like you have to respect that. I think John Tavares, like he was a free agent and he could decide to go wherever the hell he wanted from. Guess what? If his hometown was in Edmonton, he would go to Edmonton. If his hometown was in LA, maybe he wants to go back to family and go to LA, right?
That's the thing about being a free agent. You make the decision. You have that choice.
You have the power.
If he didn't feel like he didn't like the direction that the Islanders were going, who wouldn't want to leave?
If he was from Long Island in New York, he probably would have stayed there his whole goddamn career.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just that when you hit free agency, you're allowed to make whatever decisions you want, and nobody can care less, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, I've said in the past, like with Gaudreau being in Columbus, again, that was his decision. It was a weird decision, but it's his decision, right? Like that's the point that we're trying to make.
Exactly.
Right?
It fully falls on the player no matter what. And if they're comfortable with that decision, that's all that matters at this point.
They don't care if we're satisfied with it.
Yeah, I would have said the same thing if, you know, Austin Matthews had left. Obviously it would hurt early on. You know, he's setting all these records with the Maple Leafs, but if he goes on a personal decision to go back to California or Arizona, that's ultimately his decision. It's his choice.
Exactly.
You know? Like, yeah, it would suck, but you know what? I'm just a guy that just comments and writes about hockey at this point.
Yeah.
I have no say in his future. It's ultimately him that does it.
Exactly. And it's exactly like you said. It's not like he's going to the Rangers or the Devils who are right there, right? Like, but again, like at the end of the day, it's his decision. It's what he wants to make out of it. So back to this game, though. Precious is asking us who we think is going to end up winning this one at the end of it. Columbus does lead 1-0. We're currently at intermission right now between the Blue Jackets and the Flames. Right now, the way it's going,
looks like Columbus.
It looks like Columbus, but all it takes is one bad break. You know, hockey, it's anything can happen, so to speak. I just like the way Columbus is playing right now. I think it's a little, like you mentioned earlier, like the silly turnovers and Calgary not really playing that well in their own zone. They just got to start finding ways to just getting in front and being a little bit more aggressive offensively, getting into the face of Spencer Martin a little bit, because you know he can be beatable, and they have to kind of find that way in the third period. And hey, this team's been good in the third period in the past, and I think that they can again.
Yeah.
As they're showing a nice video here of Adam Fantilli and his parents, I guess, were sending him a message.
Yeah, I am way ahead of that because I just finished that like a long time ago.
Oh man, I have
no idea what's going on with this broadcast right now.
Yeah, but yeah,
I have to pause again and wait for you to catch up when the.
That's okay. We'll fix it when we start the third. There's still some time here in the second intermission, but guys, keep sending us questions and comments that you have for us, and we'll try to answer it as best we can for you. We're also getting asked, who would you guys trade for Timo Meier? Kind of a loaded question, but let's kind of take it in. I don't know. I think if you would trade for a guy like Meier, I know he signed an extension with New Jersey, but for the sake of this question, I would imagine that you probably have to give up a top 6 forward, probably plays on the second line, maybe a high prospect, and a third or second round, maybe a third round pick, somewhere around those lines.
I just want to see. Here's the thing. Realistically, that is the trade you would get for Timo Meier. Even a first, maybe you throw in like a third or a fourth as well.
Like if you don't include the prospect, then yeah.
If you don't include the prospect, let me just see the trade.
Well, let's play a scenario here. Like if I'm the Flames and you're the Leafs, right? Because that's who we are and what we do. Like for me, like I would probably consider giving up a top 4 defenseman because that's the assets that we have. I would probably give up a first round pick, right? And I would probably throw in like next year's third, probably. That's what I would do. Like I would give up, I would give up a guy like Noah Hannafin and then whatever, like do a first round pick or a high prospect. And then like a third round pick.
It was Meyer plus 4 other players, but that was a bigger trade in itself. But you have basically a conditional first, a conditional second, a 7th round pick, Shakir Mukhamadullin, Nikita Okotiuk, and Fabian Zetterlund. So I think Mukhamadullin and Zetterlund were like the top tier prospects or roster players.
Right.
So Zetterlund is that one on the cusp that's like a middle 6, Mukhamadullin top prospect, and then those picks. So I'm thinking that would probably still be the same framework for just him, and you're not adding anybody else in.
Right.
But yeah, top 6 or middle 6 kind of player, top prospect, a first, second, and maybe a third. Going in between the second and third.
Only thing I was going to say was that like when we were watching Meyer play, like I was watching a lot of Devils games with Neil in the playoff last year. We were both saying the same thing, that Meyer was very quiet throughout the whole series against the Rangers and the Hurricanes too. He wasn't really a factor.
Even down the stretch, I thought he was still trying to find his place, and even right now, he's off to a very, very slow start.
Yeah, he's still trying to find it, and I'm surprised that they gave him that extension. To be honest with you, because to me, like you mentioned there, I don't think he's found his place yet on this team, and I think I don't know. I'm curious to see how that kind of pans out. As they're showing tomorrow's games. Probably the big one tomorrow night, I think, for Canadian fans is Jets and Oilers tomorrow night. But the Leafs are in action against Tampa Bay tomorrow night. I imagine that arena is going to be fully packed with Leaf fans. Wouldn't surprise me. It normally is in Florida.
Always is.
I think it was fairly packed in Fort Lauderdale last night. Correct?
Honestly, I was not paying attention to the crowd size.
I was going to say, well, you heard that you got Florida chance.
But see, here's the thing. Like, there were seats behind both the Leafs and Florida bench, and it was completely dead as well. So it's like,
got it.
I guess this early of the season, it doesn't matter for the Florida fans unless they actually make the playoffs. But
yeah, I was going to say, he was asking the question because the Yasmin fantasy, like I think if you have the chance to trade him for maybe a couple of assets here or there to just kind of spread your lineup, might be a good call, because I think we were saying, like he just hasn't found his place in the lineup.
And he could pop off at any point.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's kind of funny because I had him in fantasy all last season, and people wanted Timo Meier because he already got 30 goals with San Jose.
Right.
And then as soon as he went to New Jersey, he went very, very quiet. He had 14 points in those games with the Devils. So it's like, didn't really do much afterwards for me because he was, invisible.
Yeah. So in terms of fantasy, I think that's probably a different story, right?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't drop him, obviously. Like if there's a trade out there to make for him, then you can.
Yeah, I think he would be one of those players where you can't drop.
No, God, no. I don't think you could.
I think you shouldn't drop.
For us, for our 20-team league, I can't drop McDavid.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I think with top 10, top 15 players, there's no way you could drop them.
No shot.
All right, so I had just come back to an arena shot right now. I'm going to pause it.
They're going to – okay, I was going to say, if you want to pause it, when they drop, exactly drop the puck.
Oh, they actually drop it? Okay.
Yeah, I would say do that, and I'll let you know when they drop the puck here.
I think I just killed about 3 to 5 seconds, so hopefully it catches up.
So I imagine we're probably starting the third period soon. Scratchy Tuesdays. Okay. I have the Calgary commercials.
Yeah, I was getting the Calgary commercials too. Yeah, the sea of red.
Okay, they're getting back here for the third period. As I will let you know when they drop the puck, I will get the scoreboard back on, and we are here for maybe one more period, maybe OT. We'll see what happens as the Flames are down 1 heading into this third period, and Columbus looking to close it up. And I think Columbus only has 1 win so far this season, correct?
Yes.
I think they're 1-2 or something like that, maybe. But anyway, it's early, man. Teams are going to be up and down and sideways as we've seen it before. So let's see what happens here in this third period. I will let you know. They drop the puck. Here we go.
All right.
As we are underway with 19:54 to go.
Again, the beauty of live TV and pausing everything right now.
I know. Man,
did not have that luxury 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my God, I'm so happy we had that. So good. I need to do it more often now. Like I've come to a point where cable TV for me is just not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like there's nothing on anymore where I'm like, I can't go like somewhere else and just watch what I want to watch.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. One more period. Shots are still 26-22 for Calgary, but Spencer Martin
that went off the other, around on the other side.
Good chance here. Trying to go 5-hole, rebound in front. He can't pot it home. It feels like Calgary's going to get some really good chance here in this third period.
I'm giving the Blue Jackets credit because they're taking, kind of like Florida against the Leafs, they're taking away that middle of the ice right now. Like that, in essence, would be a very easy tap and goal. There were already two bodies right there.
Yeah, they're forcing them to the outside, which makes sense. And yeah, I think it's funny, like throughout the game, like you just said there, like you haven't really seen them take advantage anywhere in the middle of the ice. They've kind of locked that down and make them go outside going in.
Mm-hmm.
As Calgary in the zone now, they've done it out there with Ruzicka. You got Kadri out there, the second line unit, trying to get something going here with 18:30 to go. As Columbus again still leads by 1. I'm getting better at this as like we do more. Like I can't do it to the level as that Neil does. I think I mentioned it before.
Like you said before, he does a fantastic job with his broadcast.
Oh god, he's so good. I just sit there like I don't even have to say anything sometimes because he just goes on, right? My understanding is that we do have a game tomorrow night, guys. It'll be Hurricanes and Avalanche. We're gonna do it one every Saturday night.
Oh, he shot that. Mangiapane shot that right at the skates.
Oh yeah,
he shot that right at the feet.
Pretty covered. As Tony says, he just doesn't see Columbus holding on, and man, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Angus going, I mostly watch YouTube and mostly sports being streamed. I think that's kind of the direction
that's the consensus,
going in, right? I would love nothing more than to have like a way to just stream the goddamn game on here. You know, like, come on, like I get copyright and all that, but god damn it, like if we have to pay a fee, then we'll pay a goddamn fee. You know what I mean? Because guess what? That's what people are looking for at the end of the day. But hey, we'll see what happens soon. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Can you like that'd be the dream, right? Like that'd be such a dream to have. Like I get like the stupid thing is that what I don't get, and maybe I'm stupid for asking this question, but live streaming sites like hockeytv.com, man, they're really peppering Martin now. And all these like live streaming sites, like they're showing the game, like they're live streaming it there. So I wonder like what special rights do they have that we're not able to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because obviously YouTube is like the
very, very picky when it comes to that.
Very picky with that, right? So it's like there has to be a streaming site, right, where we're able to do this and also provide the game as well too, because YouTube is like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that the NHL charges so much for what they do because the quality
really
you pay for it, it's terrible.
It really,
and you don't want to do that because
well, like Tony says, obviously it's copyright,
and like licensing and all that.
Look, we would love nothing more than to do that, right? And if there ever comes a day where we find a loophole, right, or if we're able to do it, then 1,000% we're gonna do it, right? Because it's like I don't know, like I wouldn't be surprised if years from now, puck out of play, 17 minutes to go. I think we're at the same time.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, they're showing the clip of
just falling on his ass. It wouldn't surprise me if people do end up finding a different streaming service site, right? Like what I mean, like StreamYard, what we use, right, for doing live streams. It wouldn't surprise me if people find one day, create one, right, where they go through, not through YouTube, right, but some other platform where you're allowed to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I think I don't know when that day will come, but like if that ever happens, I don't see why we wouldn't do that, and then why we wouldn't promote that, you know?
Yeah.
So I hope it comes one day, and I think if it does, then we should be on the lookout for it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just me. As 17 minutes to go here, Flames have 27 shots on 21, and again, Spencer Martin has been sensational tonight. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but also I do like the goalie. Sorry, I was going to say real quick. I like the goalie masks that Markstrom and Martin actually have. I like both of them. They're pretty cool.
Could not decipher what is on their mask, really. I said I should probably get my glasses, and I don't have my glasses. But
Blue white glasses, baby.
Did not see what was on their mask, but
they do.
I will say this: both Martin and Markstrom have been sharp. I mean, aside from that one goal, that misread or from Markstrom, he there have been a couple of instances where he shut the door big time, including that Fantilli shot. So
and again, I couldn't agree with Tony more here, but to your point, Peter, right? He's been sensational tonight, and you got to stick like a guy like Kadri now in front of the net and see what you can do. As it's been mostly Calgary here the first almost 4 minutes of the first period here. They've been all over Columbus here, trying to find a way to tie this thing up here. Martin just deflects it off to the side.
I'm just gonna say this: has Huberdeau been on the ice at all?
Yeah, he's been there. I've seen it. He's been
a ghost for me this game right now.
That's a fair point. I think
I've seen Kadri, I've seen Lindholm, I see everyone else, but he has just been very, very quiet overall.
His role has to be.
Oh, there he is, number 10.
Yeah, number 10.
That's the only time I've seen him, basically.
Sometimes you have to look at the stats after, and you see his ice time, and it's he's on the ice for 24 minutes, and you're like, what? I feel like I barely saw him, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's definitely going to be the case.
I wear glasses. Well, maybe you need to get some blue light glasses. which don't make it all.
Gotta change my prescription then.
Oh my God. I bought these off Amazon, believe it or not.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Frames are just out everything.
No, it's the full thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I told
Did not know you could do that on Amazon.
You can I don't know what. Oh, so the company's name is Cyxus. Anyway, CYXUS. Anyway, I went on last year just because for whatever you do for a job, if you constantly look at screens and all that, it just helps rest the eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
So I paid $20 for it, right? And do I need to do a better job of cleaning it? Yes, but that's not the point.
You get the job done.
Exactly. So I recommend. I recommend if you actually do have problems with, just looking at screens too much. Markstrom in his career against Columbus, he's 4-1 with a 1.77 goals against average, and he's got a .944 save percentage. That is ridiculous. Yeah. One shutout.
Record is in jeopardy of, getting one into the loss column, but the numbers are still going to be very solid.
And that's what I mean, right? That's why, I'm not concerned with him this season. I think, tonight's game for me has shown that he can bounce back. And, even if they lose tonight, I'm not concerned. Really, you're going to be 2-2-1 by the end of tonight if that's the way that this is going to go.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take more positives out of this just because I think Columbus has played a tight-knit game where they have closed down the middle of the ice. Markstrom has really played well tonight, and I think I can take more positives out tonight if this is the way it's going to go.
I wish I had your optimism.
Listen, I have to see, okay.
Yeah. Wish I had your optimism for the Leafs.
But I think when we talk about this, it's two completely different teams, though, right?
It is, yeah.
Structure-wise, right?
That would have been good if they connected.
I know, it was a 3-on-1 there, and then all of a sudden it goes the other way. Jack Roslovic with it, and Markstrom.
Was that Coleman? Because he went in undetected.
I think it was.
Markstrom. Might have been Dubé.
I might have to see the replay of that, but just wanted to say there, Roslovic gets in, good chance, but Markstrom makes sure there is no rebound there. It was Coleman to Backlund. Backlund missed his pass to Dubé.
It was Dubé. Okay.
Yeah, a guy that I need to step up this year is Dylan Dubé. I need to start seeing something from him. I can't he's got to start. I don't know. For me, he's just got to start being a guy.
He's got to elevate. He's got to do a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think what's funny is that with this team, if you talk about both of our teams, for example, you guys are so offensive heavy with Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, the list goes on, blah, blah, blah. Whereas with this team, I'm finding it hard to figure out who's going to be the guy to score goals on this team. And it's showing tonight, right? It's, you got 28 shots on goal. And I think the other night when they were playing Washington, where they were peppering shots on Kemper and they just couldn't bury anymore, right? So it's not like they're not getting shots on goal, but I think there's that question of what's the quality of these chances starting to be. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's going to look like this year, but they got to start fixing this up in the sense that maybe they put Sharon Govich up on this first line. He's got a really good shot. Huberdeau's not going to be your guy that's going to put the puck in the net, and they got to start jockeying around a little bit to see what works.
And that's the thing too. I knew, like, even with the coaching change, I did not think that Huberdeau was going to get back to the way that he was before. I think he was still going to be regressing as a result, even with the coaching change. And it's looking like I kind of was right about that. I mean, he is averaging a point per game. But it's just, I think consistently, I think he's going to still be hovering around that 60-70 mark. And that year with 115 was just a one-off.
There's never going to be a year again where he's going to have that, right? Because you have to look at the fact that he had a guy like Alexander Barkov and whoever else he was playing with on that line for the majority of the year that made it so effective. I think he's going to have a better year than what he had last year, right? Because a lot of guys, like, he was telling in an interview too, like, he just was not happy last year playing hockey. He wasn't right?
And I guess with playing with the Sutter,
it doesn't like, he just wasn't happy in part because of Sutter, right? Like, he blatantly,
it was a lot of other things.
I'm sure there was a lot of guys who were feeling the same thing. I'm sure Backlund was feeling the same thing. And now that he's kind of gone, I'm not trying to say that Sutter was the reason why this team was bad last year. Huberdeau came in, and my first worry was, who's going to be the guy that's going to score? Even with Tyler Toffoli in this lineup, I still thought it was going to be difficult to find a guy that he can play with to score, because that's who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because all those points majority of them were assists.
But also, like, what kind of assists? I think when I saw and looked back, a lot of them were secondary.
Can you look back at what like the stats were for that season?
I sure can. Natural stat trick.
You just know all the sites tonight, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always my go-to, because it always says, like, for the season, it gives like the individual stats for, like, secondary or primary and individual as well. So let me try Calgary.
Yeah, because he had like 115 points. That's my guess. It's my best guess. I'll say 115 points. I think that's
year was that?
This was not last year, but the year before that. So it was
21-22.
Correct. Yeah, this was the year, like, just as COVID was getting out.
So 19 first assist, 14 second. And that's at 5-on-5, but let me do everything.
Okay, you do that. I'll tell us what's going on here. Calgary getting in the neutral zone, getting through the neutral zone, back in the offensive zone, get another chance on Martin. Stop, good chance. They can't bury it on Martin.
So it was 53 first assist, second 32, but that's still the highest of his career, where he had a lot of secondary assists.
Got it.
But also the fact that, power play played a big factor on that, because him teaming up with Barkov, that was just absolutely insane and nuts as well.
Yeah, like, and Barkov's no joke, right? Like, he clearly is a top 10 player in this league, and it helps, right? So that's what I mean. I think, like, you find especially, like, for the Leafs, for example, that Matthews is a goal scorer, right? So, it's finding it, like, you throw Jonathan Huberdeau, let's say, on a line with Austin Matthews, that Huberdeau is going to be the guy to set up Austin Matthews, and Matthews is going to be the one to pot it, right? Like, you just know that these are the type of players and these are the type of roles that they are familiar with.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just who you are. It's not anything bad, but it's just who you are as a person, right? And how you, excuse me, who you are as a hockey player, maybe not as a person, but
the label that you're given.
Yes, exactly. So, like, that Matthews is a goal scorer, right? And that's just, like, there's no, like, sugarcoating it, right? Like, that's who he is. He's been this elite goal scorer for the longest time now. Huberdeau has been the guy who just isn't a goal scorer. He passes the puck. He sets the plays up normally, right? He's the quote-unquote quarterback for guys who play alongside him, who are, again, very good goal scorers on his line. As we saw with Barkov.
Speaking of Huberdeau, like, there's that sequence where he was just like 1-on-4, no help whatsoever. Like, the Flames aren't giving each other, like, enough puck support as well in this game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know that was one sequence, and he was trying to. Oh, there we go. There's two.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. If you had 4 guys in front of the net, they weren't looking behind him, and it makes it 2-0. Damn. That was.
And unfolded so quickly. Danforth.
I've never heard of Danforth before, but he was in a perfect spot. He just sat behind Markstrom here. Roslovic playing the weighty game. You had.
I was a slick cross crease feed.
But the problem is that what's Hanifin doing? What's Lindholm doing? Like,
all 3 of them. They got.
Nobody's looking at
both
him.
Both of
them. Was late to that too. Nobody was looking at him. So there was no chance for Markstrom to get that. I'm not putting that on him.
I think that should have been Lindholm's guy, and Hanifin should have worried about Danforth in front of the net.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Like, you have 3 guys that are all looking at the puck, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, Anderson was already busy tying up his man, but what are the other 2 doing? Like, that was just absolutely great, bait by Ross, to pull them in and then feed it across the ice. That was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was a good place to be for Danforth, as he was the guy who ended up scoring, as Precious was asking. Is his name Justin Danforth?
I think Justin Danforth, yeah.
Justin Danforth, yeah. So Danforth, that's his 2nd of the season, and he was assisted by Jack Roslovic. And Zach Werenski does get his first point of the year in his first game back of, what was the injury that he was on again? I don't remember the injury.
Can look that up. I think it was lower body, if I'm not mistaken.
I would agree with that. That would make sense, because I think I say that because he's had a lot of injuries.
Quadriceps. Where are the quadriceps again?
Come on, I know this. Well, your quads.
Okay, so apparently, going back even further, it was a knee on knee. Man, I need to go back and pay attention to biology.
And Precious was almost right in the fact that it was almost 3-0, as there was a lot of chaos in front of the net.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how we're getting back into this one, man. I'm sorry. It's been
that was.
Oh, and that's a high stick. Yeah, that's a high stick.
Mm-hmm. Now, is he leaking?
And it looks like that could spell the end of the night. Oh, that blows. Was it Gaudreau that he had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks to be okay. No blood, but still not the penalty you want to take, because that's just a careless stick right there. Oh, that was a heavy hit right there.
Tony heading out. Really appreciate it. If you ever want to join again, we got our other stream going on tonight, but we also have one going on tomorrow night. We're going to do one every Saturday night as well, too. So make sure you join up on that one, too. It was great having you, and we'll see you again soon. It is 2-0 Columbus with around 10 minutes to go, and it is just a 2-minute power play for Columbus.
Yes.
Nearing the end of it. Again,
I love when players still try to draw blood or try to make sure there isn't anything. I'm I understand it is serious, but it's you got to play it up a bit somehow, I guess, unless it's very, very serious. But
do you think guys when they get high stick, right? Let's say they have a cut, for example, do you think they try to dig in a little bit and try to make themselves bleed?
When I see you don't want to see that, but it looks like that happens. They just want to try and see if they can get an extra 2 out of it.
Sure. I
mean, not saying that all of them do that, but there have been instances where I do see them they're constantly scraping or touching the area, and it's well,
right. Thanks, man.
Don't know what to think. I mean, I doubt it. I doubt players are actually thinking that. I think they just want to make sure that there is no blood. But
I would assume that if they know that when you get hit, right? You know whether or not there's going to be blood right away, right? You can I don't know. I don't think there's really a way they can try even have enough time, because I would assume the refs are right there to know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my 2 cents. But okay, so it is. Oh, it wasn't. No, he has gloves.
No, he just punched them in the face.
But you're still.
He just swung around, and that's probably
elbowing even. Yeah, it was elbowing.
Okay.
Dick.
Okay.
7 to go, and all of a sudden it's a 2-minute power play here. Lindholm 5 for 14 on the faceoff. So Boone Jenner 10 for 14 tonight. Jenner's been really good for that tonight. Missed wide. I don't know who 91. Oh, Kent Johnson's 91. Again, a guy that I'm like really looking forward to this year. I think he's going to be a stud.
If he isn't healthy scratched.
It will, exactly. He shouldn't be. That's a stupid thing.
Yeah. I still can't believe that happened, and I had to drop him and pick somebody else up. I'm like, whoa, who do I go for now? So
I like going for the young guys, preferably.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Werenski loses it all of a sudden. Breakaway here. Shot scores. Elias Lindholm.
Give me that goal for fantasy. Let's go.
Elias Lindholm gets on the board, and all of a sudden, shorthanded giveaway.
There we go.
And the Flames get on the board with Elias Lindholm. Hey, I wasn't wrong. He did score technically the first goal for Calgary. As bad giveaway, it was in the ref's foot, right to Lindholm. And he beats Gaudreau, and he beats Spencer Martin, and he's got the Flames right back in the game. The Blue Jackets will still be on the power play, but the Flames are right back in this.
See,
with 9:37 to go.
Like, that was just an unfortunate bounce too. At what point do the linesmen too have got to quickly get out of the way so they could recover the puck too? But
there was nothing
even that errant pass too, it just seemed a little bit off for the way that the Jackets have managed it this game. But still, get out of the way.
There was nothing that Werenski could have done that, and it's not the ref was out of the way. I just think it was just a bad case of him off the crossbar. See what I mean? It's still 120. It's still a power play here for Columbus. So,
and who was at 9? Who's number 9?
Well,
that was Provorov maybe, and he was lined up for that.
Yeah. Man, I did not expect. Yeah, it wasn't Werenski's fault, and I don't think it was the ref's fault either. It just no, even the ref, you can't if you know the puck's coming at you. It's not like it was coming at it fast. Why can't you just go up on the boards? Take your two hands, put it up on the board, lift your skates up, and just let it hit it.
Do a little mini bench press so they can at least recover it.
You're in the way, dude.
You see that on the other time where they sit on the bench or where the benches are. Yeah, exactly. It's you don't. Here we go, Coleman again. He's just going to clear it out.
Clears it out with 33 seconds to go. So a successful penalty kill. 28 seconds left still, but all of a sudden, Calgary finds their way back in it, one down with 8 minutes to go. And I got my wish, so I'm happy for tonight. That's okay.
There you go.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted one thing. The way this game was going, I was just man, damn it, I just want one. I'm only asking for that.
I kind of wish I'd added in shorthanded points for fantasy this year because
Hey, by Markstrom. Columbus.
I thought that went in.
I thought it was too. It looked like Gaudreau had a good chance there, but Markstrom has been on point tonight as Gaudreau had a really good chance to beat Markstrom blocker side, but he was denied. Sorry, you were saying I cut you off there.
No, I was just saying I hope I should have done shorthanded points because that would have been a big goal for me right there.
I know, right? I don't know if we did now that I'm thinking about it. Not that I have Lindholm, but I don't think we did. It was funny. I have so in my matchup this week, I think I was down by 7 points entering last night, and now I'm up by 3. So I don't know what happened, but it was just funny. I was
just 18 right now, and I was getting smacked this week because Joel Eriksson Ek had to go off in one of those games.
Of course, I can't make what the Wild are going to be this year. I have no idea what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, their defense is kind of limited at this point as well because I think Spurgeon is still on the IL.
And no Dumba because he's out in Arizona, I believe.
Arizona, yeah.
So Arizona is another funky team this year too, where it's I love Cooley, and I think for me, I have Logan Cooley winning the Calder this year.
Really?
I don't think Bedard wins it. No way.
I mean, it looks like it right now. I think out of all the rookies right now, Cooley's been the most impressive.
I don't know. I just everybody's saying Bedard's a couple games in and he's just as good as advertised. And I go, okay. And they all think he could be a point a game player and he's going to hit 80 points this year. And I go, all right.
80 was a stretch.
No way. It was a stretch. I don't think. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't love look, when we were watching the game when he played Toronto, he had great attempts all night long. He was probably the best player on the ice.
He was dangerous, yeah.
He was dangerous. He was probably the best person on the ice when it came to just looking at Chicago entirely. But I'm sorry, I don't think it's gonna maintain this year. I think he's probably gonna be like a 50-point guy, like 60-point guy for sure. But I think to say that he's gonna get 80, 90 points, I think is a little outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Call me crazy. I don't think I don't know. I think the hype's too big.
Yeah, especially in a market like Chicago too. I think.
Look, if you
I think he'll settle in.
Sure.
And the points will come, but I think it's at a point now where, because they're relying on him so much, it's going to be tough for him to do everything.
As we got somebody currently at the game right now.
Oh, that was pretty
amazing. Where are we sitting? How are the vibes? What's the atmosphere like? I'm assuming that it's a little nerve-wracking considering Columbus is just up 1 now with 5 minutes to play, but probably
5 minutes to go right now. So there's still plenty of time right now. They are pressing with their top line right now.
Anyway, I hope he's enjoying the game. It's I probably have Columbus as like a bucket list arena I'd like to go visit. I think it looks like a nice place to be at, arena-wise.
Even if you anticipate that cannon going off, you're not ready for that cannon.
Oh my God, the cannon. I forgot about that, as Martin has no idea where that went.
Yeah, he had no idea. No idea whatsoever.
4:40 to go, and time is not on the side for Calgary as it is icing with 4:34 to go. And Fantilli's looking a little beat up.
He's gassed. No, they were all out for like at least a minute 20, and now they got to go back again because of the ice. Yeah. So
now, if you're Calgary, you got to think you got to bring everybody that you can out for this one. Your best guys, bring out who you can. Coronado had a really good chance there. Just got the blocker of Spencer Martin. Man, it's going to come down to the wire.
Again, tip in front by Coronado.
He's been all over it tonight too, and I thought he's.
Oh yeah, he's had a good game.
I think he's going to have a good year. I think Coronado's going to be probably getting, if he stays healthy and has plays full 82 games. For me, I think he probably gets around 30 to 40 points.
I think 30 is realistic for him.
30 probably is fairly realistic. Yeah. I hope me personally, I just hope that he does transpire to be a good player. I think I think he could turn out to be that type of player, and I like his game. As 4:05 to go, as
it's like break up to go the other way.
Ruzicka with a chance. Stop by Martin again. Martin's been so good tonight. He's been really, really good tonight for Columbus. As
I can't remember, was Lindholm's goal blocker or glove side?
Blocker side.
I feel like Calgary's going way too much on glove side and need to go blocker a little bit more.
Maybe that's what they figured out, as they're trying to go high on Martin. And
that was very quick.
Dennis Gilbert can't get it done.
Yeah.
As we will go to one final TV timeout as the Flames look to get back in it, as I think it was a great save. You got to
he got it right on the arm. Yeah.
Look, Spencer
he literally just upped it up.
And we're having a Leaf type game where the backup goalie is turning into a Vezina candidate tonight, as Spencer Martin is playing very, very well tonight. He's seen the puck well, and overall he's just been sensational.
You feel my pain right now.
Well, hey, maybe we what's the schedule for next week? For the maybe we can do a Leaf game next week.
That sounds very fun.
What do we got? Let's see what we got here. Because odds are Calgary will be done their road trip soon, and they're going to have like 10 o'clock games. So I don't really feel like staying up for that. Who do the Leafs play next week here? We got Tuesday in Washington, Thursday in Dallas at 8 o'clock.
p.m. game.
Oh, 6 p.m. in Washington. That's not nice. Okay, maybe.
7 p.m. Preds game. A lot of options.
In Dallas. That'll be a tough one for you guys, eh? In Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on a road trip now, though. You got
this is the 5-game road trip. This is the longest one of the season for them. Yeah.
Wait, what? That's the longest that they have this season.
I believe for a road trip. Yeah, 5 games.
What? And then they come home in November. They're home for 5 games in November.
Yeah.
What?
From what I heard, I mean, that's
5-game road trip is your longest road trip. Yeah, you got 4 games on the road in January. You got 3 in February. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
Gee, I wish I had that luxury. We've had like 7-8 game road trips.
This is the only time where luck has been on our side where that's like the longest road trip.
But also like don't host a World Junior game too, because like when Ottawa I think Ottawa did. No, who was recent?
Yeah.
Who was the recent one? And was it Ottawa?
No, Halifax and New Brunswick. But they don't have an NHL team. That's
before that, I think it was Calgary and Edmonton, but it was during the summer and COVID.
Yeah.
I think it was in Edmonton regardless, though. Like they had 2 back-to-back World Juniors.
Back-to-back in Edmonton, one without crowd, one with.
So imagine like being like, whatever, even when they were in Buffalo in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine the road that they're going to have there, right? Like, come on.
Yeah. It's hectic.
All right. 3:11 to go here. Shots are 35-28 now. Calgary with 3:04 to go. I imagine they're probably going to pull the goalie.
I was about to say, you probably may want to do a little bit aggressive right now, where it's 3 minutes right now.
Yeah. Markstrom probably waiting for the call now.
He's looking back.
Wow, they're really taking their time here, guys.
Oh, wow, yeah, they're really getting set up.
No rush, guys. Like, it's okay. Huberdeau in. Kadri
down by 1.
Bad pass, trying to find
that was a very aggressive pass. Like, you could have waited that out a little bit longer.
2:30 now to go here. Still pressure by Calgary here. Losing the puck. Only can't get anybody back. And
another ice.
They pulled the net.
There we go.
Just as they pulled the goalie, it goes in the net.
And it was going to be an ice, too.
So there you go.
Oh, God.
That's okay. You know what? I think when I was watching last night, I was like, thank God they won last night, because now I can go into tonight with like no pressure.
Yeah. Because it's something tough to win back-to-backs.
It is tough. I mean, they probably didn't get out of Buffalo until like 10:30 last night. They landed probably late. They're playing a Columbus team who was pretty hungry for a win, and no, they deserve this win tonight. I thought Martin was very good as always, like as I've been saying throughout the game, and
they wasn't even trying.
Markstrom didn't even get on the bench by the time that puck went in.
I hope that doesn't count as a goal, guys.
Oh my God, definitely seen THPN growing a lot since I came this channel nearly 2 seasons ago. Long may it continue. You're right. I mean, this time last year, we had probably 40 podcasts on, and now we've hit 100.
Beautiful.
So, been a pretty big jump. And Peter, you guys were on how long ago now? It's been a couple months now, right?
I think we came on in April.
Okay.
April or May. I know we came on before the postseason.
I thought it was after the postseason.
No, because we did a few of those live streams. I guess with Florida.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. You guys were in that. That's right. I jumped in on the call. I remember I was at a fire and I came in on a call.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, what did you think of the game tonight? It's more than likely going to be over. You got a minute left here in the game. 3 in Columbus. But your thoughts?
I mean, it was very fun and entertaining. Like, it was very close for the longest time. But I mean, Spencer Martin stood on his head right there. Markstrom kept his team in it. Again, little miscues here and there. I think that 2-on-1 could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Probably could have played that a little bit better for Markstrom, but bad breakdown of the game-winning goal right there. So,
empty netter.
I mean, good on Calgary for even trying to put the pressure back on to get back into it, but too little, too late.
And like we were saying before, it's tough. You were in Buffalo late last night. You got to go fly to Columbus. It was a tough game last night too, where they had to hold on to a lead late. Didn't really expect them to win this game tonight, if I'm being quite frank with you. Overall, I was pretty happy with their performance. I think Markstrom was great. He only led in 2 goals. You don't count the empty netter. My still concern this season is going to be with they have a lot of shots on goal, but they're not able to finish, right? And I think that's just something that we need to kind of look at. We're looking at this Flames team this season. You got to be a little concerned when it comes to that for Calgary. And my TV kind of like sputtered out there. But now it's like, did something happen? Like, I'm so confused.
Not for me.
Are they playing or?
They're still playing, yeah.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Did your TV cut out?
Totally did.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, great. Content unavailable.
Fun.
Okay. Rogers. Well, not even Rogers. It's Bell. Not even Bell.
Okay. Excellent quality.
I'll try to get it on here, but I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, hey, it happened now and not like, well, it's like
mid-game and everything like that.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But time left is I've got 40 seconds left here. I'm probably going to be behind Peter, but don't worry about it. Like we're almost at the end here. Columbus is for a 3-1 win. This will be their second win in 9 games against the Flames. And I think the Flames have one more road trip game, and that'll be on Sunday in Detroit before they head back home. So that'll be the game tonight. It looks like, guys, we got the last 30 seconds here. As Angus saying, I remember you guys when you hit 3K last year during the playoffs and was surprised about the offseason gain in subs. Well, I've been hard at work. So I've been trying to get it more going now. We just hit 4K like a couple days ago, right?
There we go.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. I think they're going to let the time go down here. As Columbus are winners tonight, guys. 3-1. They take it as Spencer Martin probably should be the first star of the game tonight. And they
lights out performance.
Fired a goal, and now you got a fight going on. It's like, oh, here we go. It's stupid fighting at the end. Are they going to call a penalty? It's like, let it go, guys. It's over. Look, we're just going to leave it. I think it's over. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, literally a 0.0 seconds left. We'll let them figure that out. But
that's
in terms of the
NHL thing to do right now.
It's over. Don't even worry about it. That's good. Branson's now trying to get on it with Kadri, and just go home, guys.
I was about to say, like, you really need to do a scrum unless something actually essentially happened.
Exactly.
And just that, but whatever.
Just end it, guys. Yeah. Like, whatever. Go home. But thanks again, Peter. Appreciate it. I know you didn't have to do it.
No problem. No, I'm happy to come on and do these.
Yeah, I was glad we got a Flames game in, and I'm probably going to try and do one. I don't know if it'll be next week, maybe the week after, but hey, if you get a chance to see the Leafs play next week, maybe we'll jump on again before I fly out next week, and we'll try to get something together. But thank you guys as always. Really appreciate it. If you still want to keep watching our streams tonight, there should be third period action between the Devils and the Islanders going on right now. I think they're tied up maybe right now. Don't know what's happening, but we'll see what happens.
Ooh, that was a late hit, though.
Okay.
That was a late hit. Okay.
Yeah. Connor's saying, guess we'll both slog through the next few games before we meet. There you go. It's early, guys, though. It's only 4 or 5 games in the year. It's a long way to go. But yeah, so Islanders and Devils are currently playing on our other stream tonight, guys. The Devils Puck Luck are currently on that. And we will have a game for you tomorrow night as the Hurricanes are in Colorado to take on the Avalanche. That's our Saturday night hockey matinee that we're going to be doing this season. So thanks, Peter, for coming on again. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys, and have a great night.
Say something.